Alright, hey everybody, and welcome back to the Heatseeker.com. I'm Scott. Today, we're going to take some time to celebrate our site, because January actually marks the 3-year anniversary since we started. So we're gonna play around. We're gonna have some fun. Let's play some random games. Hopefully, we'll talk to some of our friends. But yeah, just celebrate, have a beer, and play some fucking weird games like Mealmate, which I actually saw on the Android App Store, I guess. I haven't seen much of the game, so let's just check it out. I think I actually got this on itch.io for like, I mean, you can pay whatever you want. My Mealmate is indifferent. He's worth $0. He's 1 year old. He's okay health, bland flavor, and waxy texture. Alright, left or right? Left. Oh, okay. Oh. Yes! Nice. Right. Oh no! The sound effects are pretty great. Alright, play on. Minecart. Mine's so horny. Okay, let's go towards the money. Okay, so we reveal the tracks. Okay, $20, alright. Make a scene. Okay. Don't know what that did. Alright, let's return and see. Oh. So now he's a little older. He's looking buff. He's in a good mood. Let's see what we can do with the shop. Magic dough. Happy nuts. Magic earwax. Month-old skull. Ghost wafer. Change texture. Neutralize. Mystery texture. We have $85. Let's do this one. He's sticky. His health is neutral. Wonder if the shop things. Oh yeah, they do change. It's just lying down. Trolley Terror Jr. Jump over things. Oh. Oh shit. So hold down ducks, let go jumps. New World Sushi. Oh shit. Oh no. Uh-oh. $18. Curate wheel. Maybe it's keep it real. Keep it wheel. Oh no. $0. Baby bumper bowling. Oh. I'm trying to think. Nice. Okay, coin. Guzzling. Slots. I got a high score. Big white slugs. Okay. I didn't know if I could move it. Oh, Door's my favorite game. I love that scream. Oh, shit. Alright. He's got rotten health. Let's shop and see. Lousy. Flavor. Texture. Flavor's bland, so let's sweet, sticky, okay health. Let's eat them. What's going on back here? The 12-year-old meal mate tasted like a golden sunset and grabbed at my mouth. Meal scan reports that this meal did not affect my health. I need sunlight. I leveled up. So cool. I think I'm all right with meal mate for now. So I'm just gonna go. Erase game. No, I didn't mean to do that. Oh no. Whoops. I just wanted to leave. And I thought that was the leave button. I guess we can just go out of full screen. Well, cool. That was meal mate. That's an interesting little thing. Well, let's see here. What do we want to play next? You know what? I wonder if I want to keep Doom on here. Let's play a little bit of Firewatch. I started the like the developer's commentary version of that, and I haven't finished it. So let's continue that game. I wonder if I want to play that one on controller though. Oh shit. I don't actually have the receiver in here, even though my controller's hooked up to my computer. So don't worry about it. Okay. Notes and documents. Find the teens. So I'm up here. Which cache number is this? 241. Uh, 252. 302. 241, right there, okay. So are the... Does that mean I can listen to it? I wish it would mark which ones I... Oh, yeah, I have. Okay, so when they're scratched black, that means I've already listened to them, I guess. Cool. Let's go 23, I guess. I'm going to turn my volume back up, actually. Turned it down for that meal mate. But I really like the sounds of this one. Let's see if this is loud enough. Flashlight. What's the run button? Because it ain't shift. I tell you that. Climb. Use, move forward, strafe. Jog is R.
What does she have?
Oh, shit. Forgot the reply button. Uh-oh. Left shift, sorry.
Sorry. I don't mean to just leap into it if you're not ready.
She's got Alzheimer's. Like, dementia.
Whoa.
There we go.
How old was she?
Is she? She's alive. She's with her family in Melbourne, Australia. She's 43.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What was it like when you guys found out?
Devastating. Especially for her. You can understand.
And for you?
Anyway, everything she worked for was taken away, and that was it. Yeah. I'm sorry to be such a downer.
Don't even. I'm happy to listen. And, you know, we'll try to have some fun this summer. I promise.
Alright, let's see what this one's about.
Hi, I'm Will, and I was the gameplay and systems programmer on Firewatch.
And I'm James, and I was the animator on Firewatch.
And we're here to talk about climbing and mantling today.
We had a bunch of stuff that essentially was more point-to-point interactive stuff, where you sort of like look to the rock you wanted to put your hand on and click on it, and you'd kind of do that. A lot of the platforming-y type stuff just got pared down because as you make the game, you realize what game you're making, and it's not really about being an athletic climbing person. It just kind of like made the game slower when you were trying to get to the next conversation. Mostly what the climbing stuff ended up being useful for in like game design terms was characterization. So some of the mantles do a decent job of getting across that Henry is kind of a lumbering, slightly heavier person, as we sort of like force you to watch Henry kind of slug over an edge rather than being a nimble, mirror's edgy person.
We also use it a lot of times
Mirror's
to break
edgy
up sight lines so that you know, get a good vista as you come up over a mantle, like when you see the man with the flashlight for the first time, or
Yeah.
kind of see the burned forest.
In the cave, sometimes we use the camera animation on mantles to hide a sort of teleport to a different part of the cave, which was pretty useful actually, so that was quite good.
The reason that it all got pared down is we, didn't want you to ever fall off the cliff, didn't want you to back down them. Like, nobody ever wanted to
Yeah.
climb back up those twice, so we just made them simpler and simpler and simpler until eventually getting to you just hit the button and climb all the way up.
One of the earliest conversations I had with Jake, he just sort of casually mentioned, oh, and we're thinking that you can't die in this game, and which now seems like the most obvious design decision ever
Yeah.
for Firewatch, but I'd only been making games before then where it's like, yeah, and then you have your character can die and you respawn and da-da-da, like traditional video game stuff. And the idea suddenly of like, oh, like how do you make content that still feels like I'm climbing over stuff and I'm doing things, but with absolutely no risk. And I remember at the very beginning being like, oh god, is that going to be a huge problem? Of course now, if you ever saw Henry fall to his death in the game, it would be ludicrous and ruin the moment.
Absolutely.
But Firewatch 2 is going to have lots and lots of fall into your death, obviously.
Neat. Yeah, it's cool to talk about, or to think about, oh jeez, coming to this game from designing other games. Oh, wait. Like you said, where you have death states and where it's just sort of an expected, like an understood thing that, yes, your character can die, yes, there are fail states, and, coming from that sort of design philosophy to a game like this where it's like, well, you don't need to do that. There's no... the reason you did that in other games is because the challenge of completing that task is the game. Whereas in this, the game is experiencing the story and being a participant in the relationship between our character, whose name I can't remember right now, and Delilah. And, death doesn't really play a necessary role in that. At least our character dying doesn't.
I see a really thin plume of smoke.
Yeah, I see it too. A thin plume like this is either a new fire or a campfire.
Campfire. You think it's them?
I reckon so.
It looks like it's to the southwest of me.
That's right. If you hike towards 5 Mile Creek, that should put you in the neighborhood. Keep an eye on that smoke plume. Let me know if it's getting any larger.
Will do.
Alright, so we're right up here. Some good foliage sounds. Oh. Very informal. Trying to get people to come on and do a little Skype session where we talk about some of the news this week and plans
how'd
for
you
the
meet?
site.
Met in a bar.
The birthplace of modern romance.
I stumbled over and told her she was pretty, and that was it.
Aw, you were brave.
I was drunk.
Oh, hey, this is Ben again, and I'm here with Paolo.
Oh, I think
Hello, I'm Paolo. I was the graphics programmer on Firewatch.
So we're here to talk a little bit about the time of day system that the game uses in the skybox stuff. You're in an area where there's a weird device
Yeah.
that you can use to step and mess around with those while we talk.
As you can see around you right now, you can walk on the different parts there, and you'll see the weather changing. So immediately when we started working on Firewatch, there were a couple of important points. We had to have a dynamic time of day. So at any point, people could trigger changing the sky, changing the fog, changing each individual component independently. At the same time, this has all sorts of technical implications, but the most important are, okay, how do we represent all this information? Games have many ways of baking data, which means that you sort of gather the lighting information in a scene and then you save it into memory, which is usually a texture or other data structures, to then use it in real time. Now, the problem with that was that we had a lot of different permutations and we wanted them to change in real time. And also, we didn't know ahead of time how many we were going to have. So we tried to go with a fully dynamic solution. In this case, what dynamic means is just that as you walk around, you'll see the sun moving around, the sky color changing, the fog color changing, and the shadows moving. So all those components are always rendered every frame, and there's no information that is stored anywhere.
So what pieces make up the sky again?
The sky, we tried first an approach of representing sort of a simplified version of the scattering equation and seeing what that would look like. And it was looking good in the game, but it was still very difficult to author. And since Ollie, as the art director, is absolutely talented with colors, at some point we just sat down and we sort of worked together and said, okay, imagine that you could just paint the sky in Photoshop and think about how that would work in the game. It might just magically work. And by doing that, we basically dissected his process of assembling just a painted sky in Photoshop, and we created a shader, which are basically programs that run on the GPU to render things, that suited his exact style. So really the sky is just a series of gradients that blend into each other with a couple of controls to change curves and attenuations between them. So as you walk around, you'll be able to see how both the sky changes and then the fog adapts to the same color and the sun moves in the right direction. And then there were just a couple of numbers to make sure that like the brightness around the sun would be higher so that it would still sort of represent and give the feeling of what the sky and how the sky behaves.
And this like gave Ollie the ability to test some things very quickly.
Exactly. Having immediate feedback for filling a world that was as big as Firewatch, especially for the sort of limited team size that we had, was absolutely important. Like we had to have a way so that artists would make something quickly, have an idea of what it would look in the game, and knowing that it was pretty close to what we were going to ship.
Yep.
All right, well, that is actually really cool and fun to learn about, and I'm sorry that I'm sitting here trying to coordinate people to come on the stream with me, because I feel like I missed a lot of it. But yeah, dynamic system features, took a lot of the Ollie Moss art, and figuring out how to make a dynamic system that also can blend his art assets together. That's neat. I thought I'd listened to it already. I'm glad I didn't just stop it. I mean, I guess we just go towards... Also, it was weird because I got up to that thing, and the second I pressed the button, dialogue with Delilah started.
What are you going to do when the fire season wraps up? Are you going to go be with her? Just go back to Boulder? You should go be with her. That's my opinion. Sorry for the umpteenth time.
Maybe I'll go visit. I don't know.
Well, why not?
She's with her family in Melbourne. They're not big fans of mine.
Oh.
Her sister, Susan, is great, but her parents, I think they always thought she could do better, and that I could have done a better job looking after her.
Fuck that. I have no doubt you did your best.
I don't know.
If you want to go visit her, you should go. Don't let a couple of assholes keep you away from someone you love.
I'll think about it.
Alright, let's look here. I guess, I think we're there. No, this isn't a... Make sure I go get this number 10. Whoop, put that away. Aha. Yeah, so this would be that. Let's go back. And I think we'll head to the left here. Right? So, yeah. Actually, so there's 22. Yeah, so we should be able to go towards where we just were. And then go right. Let's see. These edges look like... that's where we went down. Just follow this edge around, I guess.
Did your wife's illness have anything to do with you taking this job, or did you just fall prey to the service's big recruiting push? When it comes to, how the hell you ended up out here?
Actually, I went looking for the job. I just wanted to get out of town for a while.
Well, you've come to the right place. Thanks to last summer, we got a bump in Forest Service budget and can actually afford to have you.
What happened last summer that accounted for this windfall?
Jeez. I mean, the federal government almost let Yellowstone National Park burn to the ground? Ring a bell?
Yellowstone is like, what, 15 miles away? Why would they do that?
Well, the short story is that for 60 years, we got very good at not letting forest fires happen. And then about 15 years ago, they decided that forest fires in wilderness areas like Yellowstone should be left to burn. So that's what they did. I can't believe you didn't hear about this. There were reports that the entire park was gone. Dan Rather telling the country that President Reagan didn't care on the nightly news. And what the hell's he gonna do? Smoke jump in and snuff one out for the Gipper?
So what should they have done?
I don't even know. By the time the Yellowstone folks realized the little fires weren't gonna burn themselves out, 100,000 acres were gone. It's Yellowstone, People don't want to touch it. But we touch it every single day. But hey, I got a 30 cents an hour raise because we can't have another fiasco. If the goddamn park can burn down again.
Well, now it looks like there's 2 rope hooks. So maybe I'm at that one, and this is the other one. Alright. Alright. After much deliberation, I've decided this is where I'll go. My big clown feet. Do I have the... You know what, I never even realized, I probably have that camera now. Zoom, map, compass, flashlight, camera, C. Yeah. Do have that.
Hey, Jane.
Hi, Jake. Let's talk about how I almost killed you over this canyon crossing.
Why would anyone have any objection to something in a game as lovely as this area?
So originally, when we first built this whole canyon, you can only walk through the bottom where the creek is.
It looks really lovely when you're walking along the bottom looking up.
And you cannot get close to anything.
You can just
up here.
imagine what the top of the canyon looks like, and you don't ever have to see it or make it.
Basically, there was nothing up here.
But what if, think about this though, what if you could walk across the top of it and look down, and then we built all of that too?
I just remember the day when you mocked this out in the paper map and just gingerly just showed it to me. And then I looked at it and I was like,
What's that line? What's that line doing going over there?
No way. No way, Jake.
There was no way I was going to win that. I mean, I ended up just building a lot of it myself to
And
try
then, yeah,
and
and I think you were like, okay, how about this other thing? I was like, okay, this other thing is fine, but this is definitely not happening.
I just secretly built a million walls and trees and like did every single thing that I possibly could to make it so
But
you
you
would look
did
at
a good
it.
job though, because like the thing I was really worried about was when you're up there, you end up seeing basically the whole length of the canyon, and then also all the way to basically towards Delilah's tower, which means it's like
Right,
way
all the way
like
through like
yeah.
the Beartooth Point
it would be
area.
like way
or
too much game to try to draw.
Mule Point. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that
exactly.
was the original sort of,
It was a lot of
fear.
very careful, like, then you go around this turn,
Yeah.
and then you secretly drop down 3 feet, and a bunch of
Yeah.
huge trees come up. I was very happy that we were able to get the canyon
Yeah.
crossing in, because it's one of the few places where I think you do a total figure 8 over yourself.
Yeah.
You
It was
know.
nice that you managed to problem solve all the sightline areas before I lose my mind.
Thanks for not killing me. I'm alive to be on this commentary track.
Seeing if I want to get a picture of this. Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, that single tree is pretty cool. Yo, this is Firewatch. This is my game of the year last year. I like that they put a vaultable rock there, but also just a path to walk around. You don't need to do that. What? All right, let's look at our map. Shame in the chat. This is tack. Don't know what that means. I'm gonna assume you mean talk, which is what I'm gonna do a lot of during this session. But for now, we are heading towards this plume of smoke. Long drop. No, that's not that far. You really drew that one out. Alright, where are we at? This is number 5. Okay, yeah, we've seen that one already. 306, is that it? Yeah. Alright, so we're down here. Go down towards the lake, I guess. Let's see if we can find that. There it is. Column of smoke. Is there any way to go over here? Oh man, I wish it was like Pokemon Snap. I mean, for some reason, because of that, I don't know if it's because of that game, or maybe that game just tapped into something that's natural to all of us, but yeah, photo taking modes in games are just rad. I never played Dead Rising, but I know that one had a good one. This one's a little different. You're not getting points for photos. You can actually, at the end of the game, when the credits roll, it shows you the photo roll from the game, because you can see up here or down here in the bottom corner, I've only got 18 shots. You never get more. But in the credits, it shows you the photos you've taken, and you can actually pay like, I don't know how much, like $10 or something, to have your photos printed out and sent to you. It's pretty cool. Because this is a beautiful game. I don't know if you know, but the graphic design artist Ollie Moss, famous poster designer, graphic designer, worked on this game, so it is stunning. It's one of the, I think that's probably one of the reasons they include this camera. There are actually some narrative reasons they include it, but all right, 6. I assume we're just going down to Thunder Canyon. Oh, and I'm also playing the commentary version. So these little things are placed here, and they'll have tapes on them, and you can listen to developer commentary. So they're not in the normal game. So this is my second playthrough. Oh, this is Shitty Boss is gonna get me killed hill. I named that earlier. Oh, I actually have to press space to repel. Okay. Alright. I never watched Lost. I know there's a smoke monster in Lost. I mean, the difference between Pokemon Snap and this would be that, yes, you can take pictures, but it has no bearing on the gameplay. You don't actually use it for anything in the game.
Hi, this is Will.
And this is James again.
We're talking about the rope right now. You should be one nearby.
Yeah, the rope was the very, very first thing I ever did on the entire game. It kind of seeped into being quite an important part of the world layout. We sort of had this whole Metroidvania
I'm gonna get a
items
beer.
thing,
Be right back.
and the rope was very much our first, like, you know, that's the rockets that let you get through the door in Metroid. It was such an early flag we planted in the ground for ourselves. So yeah, there were lots of technical things, well, weren't there?
All of the rope climbs are different. All the rope slides are different. Minorly different, but different enough. So the rope had to be physically simulated. It couldn't be just a pre-canned animation. In order to get that to work, took a ton of time, lots of iterations. In the end, I had to basically make Henry's hand a gravity well whenever he's on the rope, and then grab the nearest parts of the rope and reskin them to bones that I was just making out of math around Henry's hand and belt. So
Math
it's
bones.
like left hand, right hand, and belt are all take over as fake bones, and we reskin the rope every frame to get that to match up perfectly. And if you look real close at the rope, you can see sort of a little bit in front of his hands, the texture on it, the tiling changes and kind of squishes and stretches and squishes and stretches as you go down. And that's because the rope position doesn't naturally always like line up with even spacing when I swap in those fake bones.
Yeah, the rope is one of the best examples if you were to like zoom the camera out and look at what's going on, where like I'm sort of animating by the seat of my pants and like just keeping his hands in the perfect position so that that transition between the physics rope and the skinning version of the rope, you know, doesn't blend too strangely. And it's probably the set of animations in the game that has the most versions made. There's probably like 10 different versions of climbing down. There used to be things where your hands would swap in front of you, you know, picking the rope from one to the other, and obviously that is unbelievably ridiculously complicated once we had a physical rope. And
Nice thing is you can get on it from anywhere and at any time, and it all works. So it was worth it in the end, but quite a bit of effort.
Interesting. I never actually paid that much attention to the rope, so hey, that's why you watch developer commentary. You know all the little nuances that went into designing this. I lost the smoke. Time of day is shifting. Alright, what box are we at? 309. Yeah, I've never actually gone back. I don't think I've ever gone back and listened to it. Update my map. Uh, 309. Where the Where are we? Oh. Yeah, 309. Okay, we're heading the right way.
Boy, for as dry as it is this summer, there's an area down here that's lush.
Oh, you must be talking about the Aspen Grove down there.
Yeah, I think that's where I am.
Those trees are actually one root organism. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, they share their water as a colony that can live for hundreds of years, even through fire. Can you believe you're actually getting paid to learn all of these amazing things? Also, by what it looks like on this map, you'll be coming up on a stream that should lead you towards where we saw that smoke.
Aspen Grove.
Hi, this is Ben again, and I'm here with Paolo.
Hello.
We're going to talk about stylistic fog and some of the other effects in the game.
For the stylistic fog, we basically use the same approach that we use for the other rendering components and technologies of Firewatch, which was how do we get something that allows Ollie and Jane to really just be directive and paint colors and information like they want into a 3D world. So the only challenge that was there really was how do we translate sort of a 3D scene that has depth into it, into layers of colors, and immediately we came up with this technique of using a one-dimensional texture that is applied. You can imagine that the image, it's a sort of a rectangular image, goes from left to right. Imagine that left is the color that is closer to the player, and right is the color that is in the distance. So in that way, you are basically able to paint color in the depth of the world, and that really gave Jane and Ollie the control they needed to make the Firewatch colors as beautiful as they are.
Yeah, it really matches a lot of Ollie's original like poster and previs work for the game.
Yeah.
And that technique is used a lot in like film. In film, they wouldn't even just use one texture. Sometimes they'll use like hundreds of these strips to layer out an entire scene. But can't do that in a video game because we got to render it a lot of frames per second on bad computers sometimes.
Yeah, and for that, like for the color correction specifically, we used the plugin that was actually available in the Unity Asset Store, and it just worked right off the bat for us. It gave us sort of the real-time tweaking that we needed, and thanks to that, we saved some development time, which was really precious.
Yeah, that was the amplify color if you're really wanting
right.
to make your own Firewatch. And in an area like this Aspen Grove, you can see all those effects coming together. You see we have God rays coming from the sun, we have depth of field. If you pick up an object to blur out the world, you can see all the different colors that Ollie's manipulating beyond just like what the sky and light would provide.
Yeah, awesome.
Don't want them to talk too much over this music track. It's actually pretty sparse in this game, the music, so when it actually comes up, you know it's important. Or it has a weight to it. What is this thing? I'm probably walking up that. Let's keep walking along the... Yeah, let's keep walking along the stream. Make sure I get that other tape. There it is.
It's a really nice waterfall down here. Given those girls love a skinny dipping, I bet they're nearby.
Hi, this is Ollie again. And this is Syndra. I worked as a character artist. One of the most important things about this game, from our point of view, was to try and get the player to kind of inhabit this character Henry, and a big part of that was his character design. We wanted him to be a little different to the regular kind of character you might expect from this kind of game. He's a little older, a little more portly, and we wanted to make sure that, you know, when you look down, you can see your body and you really like feel as if you are playing this character. And to do that I designed him from the point of view of like trying to make him feel like an older man in terms of the way he moved, looked. We used a lot of, I guess, reference for this, particularly comedian Louis C.K. was one of them.
Yeah, I had
Going
like,
back to it.
I had like a mood board that I made that's just essentially just like a collage of Louis C.K. and there was also a fair bit of like Wreck-It Ralph and like the Heavy from Team Fortress, sort of like these heavy, sort of slow moving characters. So actually, when I was modeling, I would actually put like a camera in Henry's head so I could look down at his body, which is like I think most design characters for third-person games and mobile and stuff like that, I was not used to. Designing anything from that perspective. The initial model I sent you guys was pretty much just a bunch of primitives mashed together, like really rough, sort of like, early Dreamcast 3D kind of looking stuff, just to get like a feel for the, just proportions and to give James something to rig, so he could just get something moving and kind of get a preview of the motions, because, you don't need like a fully formed, highly detailed 3D model to just do animation. So actually nailing that stuff early on was really important, I think.
One of the biggest focuses was the hands, because those are the things that the player sees the most, and they're the most sort of expressive Henry. So we wanted to make sure that the shapes were really simple and bold and evocative in order to allow James, our animator, kind of give him the best material to work with and portray the character through those motions.
Yeah, they're practically the main character.
Nice. So I haven't seen much of this stuff. You don't really see much of this character, or any of this character, besides a sketch that Delilah does in this game. So yeah, actually seeing a fully rendered 3D model of the character is kind of cool.
There's some cloth out here. It looks like it was torn from something.
Strange.
I'll keep looking around.
Okay, so I think this is just where you would be led if you decide to go through the forest instead of along the stream.
Campsite, and it looks like they've got a fire.
Is it them?
It seems like it. I swear, they must have dragged 4 cases of beer out here.
Track them down, and don't let them see you.
What a job this is. These girls have a full case of beer left here. A full case.
Well, they're impressive little shits, I guess.
That is some dedication. Well, I found some dangerous hunks.
What on earth are you...
It's the name of a magazine for girls. It's on the ground here at their camp.
Can you actually crouch in this game? I don't think so. Okay.
I have entered the teen zone.
Oh, really? And where's that?
It's another one of those magazines. Maybe I should take one of their sleeping bags as payback.
At this stage, take whatever you want.
Some of their clothes are all torn up.
That's not good.
Their tent looks like it's been through the shredder, which would explain that scrap I found.
What could have done that? Like a bear or, I don't know, it sounds crazy, but even a bull elk if it's off its rocker.
Whatever did it, did not hold back.
You've got that camera, right? It might be a good idea to get a few snaps, just in case.
Yeah, good thinking.
Okay, actually, this does serve a gameplay purpose.
Looks like someone left a note.
Intriguing. Maybe you should read it.
Okay, yeah.
let me know what it says.
Dear Psycho, I hope you're fucking happy we're leaving and we're going to find the police or whatever and tell them about how you creeped on us in the lake and then came and destroyed our campsite and all of our stuff. Oh, and stealing panties is gross out. You're probably a mental fucking axe murderer and are so going to jail. I hope it was worth it, worth being a jerk over some fireworks, dick.
Oh, they're gone for sure.
Well, what's it say?
Threatening to call the police because they think I attacked them.
Oh my god, well, did you?
I didn't do anything to them, but it looks like someone had it out for them.
Then why do they think it's you?
Fuck, I don't know.
Huh.
Hey, I don't.
I believe you. Come on, Henry.
All right. It's weird what happened out here.
Weird stuff happens in the woods. It could be other campers. They could be having a bad mushroom trip. We really don't know, but they're gone. There's no way to call the cops. They're not coming back, and we can get to work. I'd really like to start enjoying a quiet summer.
Yeah, me too.
You don't like... Oh, shit. Oh, no. Are they really gonna move me away from the... Oh, man, I didn't even get to listen to that commentary. Maybe I can run back there. Did you not like the authorship? Was it a good writing from teens who write poorly, or was it bad writing on the writer's part?
Yeah.
What do you look like?
Why are you asking?
Because I'm horribly superficial.
I look like Burt Reynolds. Tom Cruise had a good-looking twin. You know, Rolly Fingers.
This isn't that hard.
Do you know Raleigh Fingers? He pitched for the A's.
No.
Well, I'm the spitting image of him.
Oh, wait, is he the guy with the snidely whiplash thing going on from the 70s? Ooh, my dad loved him.
Yeah, that's him.
That mustache. Now you have my attention.
Okay.
Okay, well, that gives me a good start. Now let's see. In my scope, I can only tell you're a white guy wearing shorts.
It's hot. And maybe, by the way, I'm not white. It's not very, PC or whatever they say.
Oh my god, you are the whitest man. Wow. I don't need a spotting scope for that. And if not shorts, then what do you normally like to wear? Now this can't be that hard. Think of your closet. Open it in your mind. What is inside?
Tuxedos, as
Yeah,
often as
gross
possible.
out does sound
Oh,
weird.
really?
You bet.
How cosmopolitan. I didn't realize Boulder was so chic.
It is the peak of high society.
Good to know, dear, yes. Now tell me about your face. I'm looking at you across the bar. What do I see?
Well, I have a thin mustache, real thin mustache. I got a long scar, goes down across my eye and down my cheek.
And you only wear tuxes.
Yeah.
Are you a freaking Bond villain?
I get up to some stuff, yeah.
I don't think you're taking this very seriously.
So if I wanted to go...
about your eyes.
Get out of here.
I'm drawing you. I need to know.
You're what?
Is that okay? Don't answer. I'm
Also, I
gonna
don't
do
have
it
my
regardless.
walkie-talkie in my hand anymore.
Fine.
Your eyes. Tell me.
Put this away.
They're happy, I think. I mean, I've been told they look happy.
Julia told you that, huh?
Look, I don't know how to describe eyes.
Happy is good. That's good. Okay, got it. Thank you, Henry.
You get what you need?
Absolutely.
Alright, I'm gonna try... see if I can get back there really, really quickly. So this is 15. It's Probably one of these. Find boards downstairs the patch window. Yeah, we're just gonna ignore that for a second. Alright, this is 307. We have 9. 2 forts is up here, so 307's there. Okay, so I fucked up. Go back up west. Because I don't think I can get over there from here. Okay. Streams videos and more insight in the actual games. Nah, it's totally cool, and yeah, the focus on design and writing, and all that sort of things. That's what hopefully our website, the Heatseeker, will be all about, and hopefully in the future we'll be showcasing both our own and other people who do that. So. Awesome. Hey, man, thanks for stopping by. And, yeah, hopefully we won't disappoint you in the future. All right, 16. Probably already seen you, so it doesn't get marked on this map anymore. That'd make the game too easy. Oh, this is the medicine wheel, of course. So we're there, so we'll just keep following this around. Thanks. 3 years, baby! Jeez. There we go. Jonesy Lake. Straight ahead, okay. There's that clawed up stump. Alright, we're getting there. I hope the commentary that we're going to find isn't super lame. But at least from now on we'll know to listen to commentary first. I was afraid that something would happen, and I didn't want to miss the dialogue in the game.
Nope.
Got them beer burps. Okay. Big open area. This is that cypress forest or whatever. Keep trucking along. Oh, time of day's different, so this looks different. That's kind of neat. I wonder if I would have ever seen it in this light otherwise. I don't know why I'm being precious about my photos. Just walk around in the picture view. Oh, is the campsite gone now? Interesting. Oh no! No! Oh shit. I wonder if we yeah, restart current day. That sucks.
Hey, Henry?
Yeah.
What do you look like?
Why are you asking?
Because I'm horribly superficial.
Well, I get confused for Burt Reynolds all the time.
Oh, is that so?
Women say that we have a similar musk.
Huh.
Hey, you asked.
Okay, well, that gives me a good start. Now let's see. In my scope, I can only tell you're a white guy wearing shorts.
It's hot. And maybe, by the way, I'm not white. It's not very, PC or whatever they say.
It's weird that
Oh my god, you are the
radio's not out.
whitest man. Wow. I don't need a spotting scope for that. And if not shorts, then what do you normally like to wear?
Tuxedos as often as possible.
Oh, really?
You bet.
How cosmopolitan. I didn't realize Boulder was so chic.
It is the peak of high society.
Good to know, dear, yes. Now tell me about your face. I'm looking at you across the bar. What do I see?
I got a broken nose. It's not bad or anything, but yeah,
How'd you do that? Your illustrious boxing career?
I wish. No, a guy was drunk and jumped on my back, and I slipped and ate a parking meter.
Eesh. I want to know about your eyes.
Get out of here.
I'm drawing you. I need to know.
You're what?
Is that okay? Don't don't answer. I'm gonna do it regardless.
Fine.
Your eyes. Tell me.
They're steely, cold, hard stare.
Like a Siberian husky.
Sure.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Henry.
You get what you need?
Absolutely.
Oh, and that window's all patched up. So, what should I do now? What's next?
What's next? What do you think is next?
Well, you've been the one giving me tasks for 2 days straight.
What's next is you sit in that room until September 1st and call me at the first sign of smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you let me know when you're mentally prepared for that task and I'll give it to you.
Let's look here. Does it still show my... Shows this as not having been listened to before.
Hey, this is Will.
And this is James.
We actually spent a lot of time trying to get the physicality of Firewatch nailed down, and one of the big parts of that was getting objects in your hand, like feeling like you could pick things up and touch them. Turned out to be quite a bit of work, though, nothing that was like reinventing the wheel. It was just a matter of getting, very specific offsets and very specific grips for every single item in the game, nearly.
We had tons of concepts, and we were looking at all sorts of games, and like Far Cry 2 and things for like where's the best example of grabbing something in the world and it isn't just floating in front of you in sort of Half-Life 2 style. We ended up just basically popping it into your hand over one frame, but making sure that happens at the exact moment that your hand's swiping over it, and it's worked surprisingly well. There were sorts of strange things as well, though, like these giant hands, and then like you'd put a beer can in his hand and suddenly be like, oh right, yeah, it looks like a little miniature minibar, airplane kind of Coke. And so there are all kinds of strange little things that cropped up, but actually having the objects in your hands and you could turn them around from any angle, it ended up making it worth doing all these super detailed props. Like Ollie would make the fireworks and do just really funny, cool designs that you could only actually see if you turned them around and looked at them really closely, and I think it paid off basically.
And those are just like a couple of poses that we blend between. Those aren't even very complicated, the lookovers, right?
Yeah, not at all really. There's basically one for books and there's one for everything else, and it's just pretty much 2 points, like fully to the left and fully to the right, with just like a sort of intelligent blend between those two things. So there were so many items in the game we couldn't have authored individual examines for them all. But even that ended up being incredibly hard to tune to get just right. Again, lots of iteration.
Let's talk to her about her tower.
Okay, I think I am ready to tackle my long-term commitment of keeping this national forest safe from total destruction.
I am glad to hear you've really thought this through.
Of course.
We've issued you a comfy chair to sit in and everything.
You know, it's not really that comfy. It's wooden and there's no padding. I think I actually got a splinter in my thigh this morning.
Aww. Well, regardless, take a seat. The forest depends on you.
All right.
Hello,
Okay,
Henry.
eating
Having
sounds.
a nice afternoon?
I might never leave.
Well, I called with some bad news. 2 young women, Chelsea Stevens and Lily McLean, were reported missing. They've got parents out in California who haven't heard from them in a week. They were supposed to meet an aunt down in Cody. If they're the girls from last week, then you're probably the last person to have seen them.
You should tell whoever that I'm happy to be questioned.
Look, it's not gonna be an issue. I mean, if they turn up dead, then maybe. Should I just not say anything and save us the trouble?
I think it's worth mentioning something.
Yeah. I'll keep it vague. I really don't want to talk to the cops.
Me neither.
All right, Henry, thanks. Enjoy the sunset.
Oh. Oh no! I hope I'm not missing commentary.
Henry? Henry, wake up. Get out of bed and pick up the radio.
What do you want?
Hey, you big dumb idiot.
Hi, Jules.
Oh, you sound tired.
Uh-oh.
I am.
Are you having a nice time?
Hi, Larissa.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Well, I think you probably know this, but in the original script, your character was not Australian. She was from Chicago. And then you were cast, and I changed the entire script.
Hooray
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that she was from Chicago, but I did know that she was originally American. But then when we discussed it, you know, you had that thought of, well, why couldn't she be from anywhere as, you know, the world becomes more multicultural. And therefore, since I am Australian natively anyway, to just, you know, capitalize on that.
It was like a beautiful discovery. It was so serendipitous. because it would have been really easy, I feel like, even though you and Sissy sound so different, like you have different tones of voice. I think it would have been easy had you had an American accent for people to a little bit be confused. It's a really startling scene, this scene that we're in here, where the radio chirps and it's his wife and not his boss.
Her, yeah.
Yeah, and we
I've
wanted
actually,
it.
I was going to say, I've watched a bit of gameplay with people in that moment playing the game and their commentary on it, and it's always really fun to have that. What?
Yeah.
Who is
The-
that? Who is that? Is that, you know, it's kind of like having that moment of going so unfamiliar to kind of jut in with this different sound when everyone's expecting it to be Sissy. So
Yeah,
that's
and
kinda fun.
I really don't believe he would have gotten that with such a potent like pop had had it not been the accent. And to the point where I think had you had an American accent, I would have asked you to do one. But I wouldn't have had the idea had I not been presented with you as an actor.
To do that.
Yeah, it never even occurred to me for that to be the case until it was like, well, she's the best woman for the job, and oh, she also happens to be Australian. Oh wait, why isn't Julia Australian? Wait, that's so much better across the board. Why wasn't she Australian to begin with? I am bad at my job.
I am.
Good. I'm glad. Look. So, a couple of months before I took this job, I was with this guy, Javier. He's incredible, caring, sexy as hell. He was a driller down in Casper. We dated for almost 5 years. I was working with the Wyoming Outdoor Leadership School, and I was obsessed with it. I wanted to be an instructor so badly. And I was sure I was going to marry Javier as soon as I could be bothered. Walls was also a good excuse to get out of town, drink whiskey in the mountains, cut loose. Then, Javier's brother got killed working in Gillette, and for some reason, I didn't come home. Javier said it was fine. He'd go to the funeral, take care of his mom, stuff like that. It'd be easier solo. When he came back, he left me. I came out here, I lied, and told my sister he fucked our neighbor. I've just lied about it for over 10 years. And, for some reason, I wanted you to know. I figured you've told me so much about you, so, you know, there's something about me. We both fucked up.
I mean, you should probably respond to that.
On day 2, you have a bunch of conversations with Delilah about Julia, or not. You can kind of choose to have those conversations in any which way you see fit, being really open about your life, or lying, or just sort of playing it soft. And all of that stuff now comes to a head here on day 33. And all of the choices you make, there's something like 30 lines of inquiry, but you can experience 4. I think there's like 33 maybe? You'll experience 4, and whatever is true in Delilah's mind based on that ends up sort of triggering this conversation here, where she wants to know either about Julia, a name she heard on day 15, or wants to tell you about her life and her experiences with a guy named Javier. And a lot of players will play this game and never even know who Javier is. It might be you. You might not know that character
I don't think I did.
exists because of the way you talked to Delilah on day 2.
You learn more about Delilah if you tell her less about yourself, if I'm not mistaken.
It's actually the polls. So if you tell her absolutely everything, or you tell her absolutely nothing, yeah, you learn a lot about her. The way we made these work on day 2 is kind of interesting. There's a lot of sort of state management going on. We're paying attention to a lot of stuff. One is just how long has it been since you've talked to Delilah? But then we also kind of need to know how long has it been since Delilah has talked to you about some heavy life stuff? Because if she keeps calling you back and being like, so, tell me about your life. So, wife, huh? Girlfriend? It's just going to feel, at best, annoying, and at worst, completely unbelievable. So we're also tracking that. And then we also don't want Delilah calling you, like, all the time. Like, we don't want her calling you when we know there's a good chance you're about to discover something big in the mystery. Like, you're about to climb to the top of the wire on day 2. And we don't want her to be like, so, girlfriend? That would be bad. So what we did is we actually paced the game out by putting these invisible sort of like cube triggers all over the world. And I mean, I probably placed, I don't know, 30, 40 of them. And as you enter them, the game just sort of asks itself, how long has it been since Delilah's called you? How long has it been she's talked about Delilah? And what is true? What does she know to be true about Julia? And it was a little hard to debug, but we built a pretty like clean looking, at least I tried to build a really clean looking state machine for it. But ultimately, I'm really happy with the way it played out, in that it feels like you're wandering through the world and the conversation unfolds naturally. But furthermore, it was really fun to actually build once I had it working, because I could pace the game by physically moving triggers around the world, whereas like, oh, that was too soon, like spread these apart, delete that one, put that one over here, put that one in this grove. And it was a really sort of satisfying way to tell this part of the story.
Wow, that's incredible. Like I just assumed that all of the Delilah conversation triggers occurred when you passed a threshold. So like the second I walk, on this patch of dirt, it would cue a trigger. But I guess according to what he's saying is they're tracking so that she's, it only triggers if she hasn't been talking to you too much, and the topics are based on what you have discussed with her. That's really cool. Uh-oh.
Hey, Delilah?
What do you got? You found him?
No, not yet. Why would there be a fence out here?
Because sometimes hikers go ass over tea kettle when on a trail.
So the Forest Service would put up a big chain link fence?
A chain link fence?
Yeah. It looks like it surrounds a huge area.
Huh. That's weird.
Who are they keeping out of here? And why?
Geez, I don't know. Maybe it's biologists, Well, they don't want people traipsing on their precious lichens.
What's a lichen?
Well, wouldn't you liken to know?
Oh my god, goodbye.
I'll ask next time I talk to someone, but that'll probably be a few days.
Alright, 241. Yo! Oh, got some, What am I trying to say here? How's it going? Aaron in the chat. I need to report something. Head north. Yo. What number was that? 241. Let's mark this shit. And then... where the hell are we? Okay, we're right there. Yeah, okay, there's the fence. There's that thing I already did. Alright, so we're going up. Oh, awesome. Hey, thanks for the follow, man. What's showing up? Oh, it's because it's not Twitch. Okay, that's cool. I wonder if oh, what am I trying to do here? Beam.pro. Why couldn't I remember that name? Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if I can get alerts for Beam on my stream.
From my point of view, it makes it so much more heartbreaking that he leaves her so far away. And I think, because I married an American and I had like a long distance relationship for maybe like 4 months before I came over, and that, you know, it's really stinking far away, you know? So to have
Really
that
far.
separation, if it's Chicago, you kind of go, well, get on the plane for a couple of hours and then you can go and visit her. But a 14-hour journey and the emotional heartstring pull, like all of that, you can understand why he's so torn about what to do. And also for him to move to a completely different country and then have to deal with, you know, a sick wife and living in a space that he's unaware of, you know. So even though, of course, living in the forest is about as
Right, it's like
unfamiliar as you can get as well, but, you know,
it's like double
worst of two
distance.
evils.
Yeah, it's like 14 hours
That's
to the
right.
trailhead from Australia, and then another 14 hours from the trailhead to the lookout tower. So it's like more
That's
than
right.
a day's journey away from this person.
That's right, that's right. And then
Yeah.
the only contact you have by phone, and, you know, and I think we discussed this in recording, where, you know, when you have a phone conversation with someone, it's great now with Skype and FaceTime and everything because you can actually see their reaction, but
I can
there's
speak
so
to
many
that.
little nuances to a conversation that you just have no idea. Is it because they're half asleep? Is it because they don't give a shit? Is it because... Oh, I'm sorry, can I swear?
Oh, you
Is
can
it-
totally
it's-
swear. There's so many
Okay, cool.
fucks and shits
Great.
in this game. It's not even, you can't stand it.
Fucking shit. Yeah, it's, you know, or is it because he doesn't give a shit about her anymore and she doesn't know and she's confused anyway? And yeah, so that kind of complexity for me made that little scene so much more beautiful and tearing at the heartstrings kind of thing.
The sad part is that I missed most of that scene because I was listening to commentary. And I don't remember that scene, this sort of dream sequence from when I played the first time. Can't get that yet. And hey, thanks for following the channel. Make sure you go check out the YouTube channel to see our, you know, reviews and previews and that sort of thing. It's kind of the bread and butter of the site. Oh, and check out the Heatseeker.com, our website. But today, we're here to celebrate 3 years of existence. Oh, damn. Cable car. I'm empty. I'm gonna go grab another beer. But, I want to check this, I want to try this out. Oh. So you'll probably hear an echo until I move off the other microphone. But, yeah, with my headset, I can take us into the kitchen. Grab another brewski. And you can be with me for the process. Get the cap off. Wonderful. So now we're back. Put the microphone up. Boom. Love it. All right. All right. Let's see where are we going? Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm out at a ravine. What's this thing that spans across it?
That is how you get to my sector.
No kidding. Well, let me hike over.
Well, it's locked up and mainly for emergencies. I've never actually used it. Rangers use it for time, but that's it.
Oh, it's up there.
Help! Oh, God, it's an emergency!
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got eyes on a tornado. I gotta get out of here.
A tornado in the heart of the Rockies?
Yes!
Holy moly, I need to call this in. Tom, Two Forks sees a tornado. He says he needs an evac into my sector. It's a meteorological impossibility. There haven't been tornadoes in the greater Yellowstone region in 100 million years. You're gonna need him to stay and take a detailed personal account, even if it means giving his life. Okay, I'll tell him. Sorry, Hank. No dice.
Man.
It was a good try. Yeah, I'll be heading back there at the end of the game. Uh-oh. Moss Peak, 2 Forts, Spruce. Can I report that? No.
All right, I got everything I need out of here. Time to chow down.
Just yours, right?
Who do you think I am?
Yeah, I wonder what would happen. Like, what are the repercussions of taking somebody else's supplies?
You've got a front row seat for what might be the biggest fire of the year.
Yeah, it's really going.
I'm gonna call it in. They'll send in a hotshot crew for some suppression, but I bet we'll be stuck with her for the rest of the summer. And she doesn't have a name yet. I usually think of something funny or something practical or a little risque when coming up with them. But why don't you do the honors?
Maybe the Flapjack Fire. How about
So-
Delilah?
No ideas, huh?
Yeah.
Delilah's a nice name.
I reviewed
No,
this
you
game
big
actually when it came
dummy.
out. That review's
I
up on
was
the site.
kidding.
No, you were not. You're sweet, but we can't call it the Delilah Fire.
Okay, what then?
How about my middle name, June?
The June Fire. Even though it's July.
I like it.
All right, the June
So
Fire.
there's
it
this
is.
creek down the hill, and you know what my favorite thing to do is?
What's that?
I love to take a bottle of whatever I have on hand, plunge it deep into the water, and let it chill in there all day. And then, on nights like tonight, when it is so disgustingly hot, I have something nice and cool to drink. I learned that from my sister in Santa Fe. She'd do that with a bottle of tequila near her house and make margaritas the size of your head. You'd like it there.
I've had a bad time with tequila. Oh wait, I would
If I was there with you, I'm sure I would like it a lot.
Are you looking at the fire?
No, I'm not.
You should. Let me know when you are.
Okay, I'm looking at it again.
I love how they look at night. During the day, it's just smoke, but when the sun is down, you can just get lost.
So I didn't come on this hard to Delilah when I originally played
Yeah.
it, so I wanted to see what would happen.
I'm
She
glad
kind
you're
of
here.
rebukes you in the end of this game, depending. I mean, I think no matter what you do.
Me too.
Good. I don't talk to the other lookouts as much as I talk to you. Not in the same way. I know it's probably been a while since you've connected with someone the way we have. I don't mean to get all heavy, but it's been really nice. I wish I was over there.
I wish you were too.
We could sit outside. We could talk without these radios. We could, you know.
What? What could we do?
Well, let me tell you.
Damn. Damn, what a cut. Okay, so it's not left as
You're going fishing
subtle
without a
as I
license?
thought.
It's one fish, and I'm sick of all the
As
stuff I got to
remember.
eat.
No, I won't tell anyone you're a poacher. That
Poacher.
reminds me, I keep hearing reports from Fish and Game about a problem bear they're trying to keep tabs on. Can you search around the lake for fresh tracks and just let me know what you find? There was a crew burning fire lines out to the east, and, you know, I
Is there
think
motion
sometimes
blur
it
on the
riles
reel?
up the wildlife.
Problem bear? Fuck that. I am of the opinion that they are all problems.
Come on, please.
Yeah, well, I've seen what they can do to a tree, and trees aren't even food.
Thank you, Henry.
Yeah.
Get your fishing pole, son. Oh, sorry, I can't take a cassette without it.
Hi guys, it's Sean.
And Chris. So here on day 76, we're concluding a series of shorter days that internally we referred to as the montage.
The goal was to figure out a way to let you play through the passage of time.
The inspiration came from a few different places, and Sean, you can sort of correct or add as necessary. One was just obviously the cinematic concept of a montage. We thought that's just a cool way to, convey long passage of time without spending a huge amount of the player's time relative to that.
You referencing movies made me think of every sports montage ever, like every training montage, and then remembering that for like 3 weeks, I was obsessed with this idea because we were trying to figure out ways to come up with new gating mechanics, and I was like, oh, there should just be like ledges and stuff that Henry isn't strong enough to pull himself up. And then inside of this montage, there should be like a part where Henry goes like underneath his tower, and there's this like a support pole that goes across
Right.
it, and you can just
Tension
do
rod.
pull-ups, and you can do pull-ups 2 or 3
forgot about
times
that.
during the montage, and then by the time we get to day 76, Henry just
ripped.
has the strength, the
Yeah.
upper body strength to pull himself to higher, which would explain the new gating mechanic. So
Right.
it was like sports montage to the
Yeah.
max. We would have had
Yeah.
to get like another 80s song in
Like
the
a
game
jock
or something.
jam.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I would have killed for a jock jam. in
I had
this
to
game.
explain
I
to
would
my
have
wife
given
what
up
jock
at a
jams
for a
were.
jock jam in this game. Just kidding.
We
Absolutely
almost
not,
broke
no.
up.
Anyway,
Sports montages, as well as film montages, important influence here. Also, the game 30 Flights of Loving,
Big
I
one.
think. Yeah,
Haven't played it.
is a very short, like 10-minute experience. If you look it up, 30 Flights of Loving, by a guy named Brendan Chung, who's just a brilliant independent game developer. I did the music for that game, coincidentally, and that game is pretty much entirely told through a series of hard cuts out of chronological order. And when we sort of combined what we liked about that and thought would work in our game with the existing day structure that we talked about earlier, it just made sense as this sort of second act of the game. Something that I think is surprisingly rare in games. You don't see a lot of montage in video games.
Nope.
no. And I kind of know why. It's
Yeah.
technically actually
It's not even
really hard.
It is really hard, and we actually strayed from our original concept, which was much more of a montage with very quick
Yeah.
shots. I mean, it's a stretch maybe actually to call it a montage because
Right.
you play several minutes of game at a time.
Yeah. There is a moment in here like where you can, if you take all the food.
Oh
from
yeah,
the-
if you do that, you'll
get a
bonus.
a very
track.
small day, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a tape on that.
There is, yeah.
That is montage-y in length, but it's a technical hurdle to make a montage.
It's hard. You have to load the entire world in and out.
Yeah, so
suddenly.
you made like being able to cut on a beat like a montage would sort of impossible because we're loading scenes and moving you all over the map and redressing the scene every time, and it's you have to actually build quite a technological underpinning to do one, and I think that's maybe at the core something we discovered at least.
Yep.
Also, did that have much to do with this? Maybe those are from an older cassette that we've already read. Oh, can't take out my map. Search the lakeside for bear tracks. Where the hell are we? Well, we're gonna head down this way. Here's that original campsite. Yeah, okay, the lake is this way.
Hey, it's Chris again.
And it's James again.
This moment by the lake where you get punched out by the person who turns out to be
Spoilers.
Ned Goodwin is one of the few times in the game where we have a complete takeover cutscene like this, sort of fully animated.
It shoulders the burden for the whole second half of the game of the player feeling scared. Like when they get to the research site, a lot of people have talked to me about they were always worried that they were going to get punched again because it happened from behind, so they're constantly sort of like spinning the camera around. Yeah, and it's along with like the rope breaking on day one, it's probably like one of the biggest punchy action set pieces I got to animate. And it's also interesting that like most of the action happens off camera, so I'm sort of implying a bunch of stuff and then sort of handing it over to audio and being like, okay, you need to basically make most of this actually work.
Yeah, scoring this was almost like scoring a tiny little radio drama, because there are the sort of creeping footsteps behind you, and they're panning slightly from right to left as they approach, and then there's the big like Indiana Jones style fist punch sound, which was really fun. That was definitely the most outrageous sound I got to put in this game. And then the ringing, yeah, it was really fun. This moment changed a fair amount because it was so incredibly difficult to communicate to the player, oh, there's this exact little thing on the ground that you have to notice and pick up, and you have to do that for the game to progress. There was actually a version of this where you didn't technically need to pick up the radio, and it just led to way too much like design uncertainty and confusion.
Yeah, this was definitely one of those points where we had to be realistic about, is the game actually getting better for giving you the option to completely ignore every single part of the through line of the game? And in this case we said, no, it's not actually.
Yeah, a lot of this game ended up being about finding a compromise between player expressivity and actually making sure some kind of coherent story got told. So this was quite a significant example of that in development. It took a long time to nail down, but I'm pretty happy with where it ended up.
All right.
Someone left their clipboard out here.
Huh. It could have been one of the Fish and Game folks. See if there's a name or a credential or something. I can call it in.
Drunk again.
What the? It's... Holy shit.
What's going on? You didn't actually find a bear, did you?
Someone has written down what we said to each other, have been saying.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't talk to the other lookouts as much as I talk to you, not in the same way.
No way.
Wait, hold on. Something's out here.
Henry? I'm worried. You didn't find and eat any mushrooms, did you? I mean, they can be fun, but also, you know, devastating.
I found a walkie-talkie out here, too.
Okay.
It's going shithouse.
Well, get it if you have...
Hey.
Henry? Are you there? What happened, Henry?
I got hit in the head. Punched or something by someone.
Are you serious? What the hell is going on out there?
I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Let me get this straight. You found a clipboard with, what, transcripts of our conversations? What else is on it?
I don't know. It's gone, along with a radio of theirs. Somebody out here could have just killed me, Delilah.
What the fuck is going on?
What's Wapiti Station?
I don't know.
I saw the name Wapiti Station right before I was cold-cocked. Does Wapiti Station mean anything to you?
Wapiti Meadow. Maybe it's Wapiti Meadow. It's on our maps. It's not too far from where you are right now. It's where you saw that damn fence. It's north of the lake. It looks like there should be a trail somewhere on the north shore of Jonesy Lake.
I'll start hiking that way now. God damn it, my head.
Are you sure you saw what you saw, Henry? Maybe you pissed off some more campers and they came back to sucker punch you. This just seems like a misunderstanding or something.
There are people listening to our conversations. The person or these people were hiding in the bushes down here. What the fuck, Dee?
I don't know, Henry. This sounds crazy.
Yeah, and you're not the one who just saw our words on a clipboard out in the middle of nowhere.
Those words were from 2 weeks ago.
I know they were. So what's to say that they don't have transcripts from 3, 4, or 5 weeks ago?
Our entire relationship, friendship, our whole summer.
Someone is out here with a walkie-talkie, taking notes and talking to God knows who.
Uh-oh.
What do you think is going on behind that fence?
Apparently a lot of following you around taking notes, which is unfucking believable, Henry.
You're telling me. All right, I'm on my way to Wapiti Meadow. I'll let you know what I find.
Okay. There's got to be a reasonable explanation. Also,
Ron got some
I'm gonna call around and see if anyone's had anything weird happen to them or seemed spooked. I don't want to make this bigger than it is yet, you know?
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, okay. Hike safe.
Oh, whoops.
Hi, Jane.
Hi, Sean. There's a turtle here.
There's a turtle here. I think it's probably your doing, even though in classic Camposanto form, playing like autopsy detective on how the turtle got into the game is not yielding any definitive
Yeah.
results.
I think I remember wanting something. Like I said, I just want a place that's very pleasant in the game, and I also want something very cute in the game. I think that was kind of on my wish list.
And we killed 2 turts with 1 stone here.
Yeah, and then someone maybe said something about turtles, and then
A turtle, I think a turtle fit into the scope of what creature we could let you find and manipulate and animate. And we
Yeah.
weren't afraid of it then.
because we were also
We
thinking
had the idea
like,
really early, and we were afraid of animals.
yeah, because you're like, what if someone wants to like throw a thing? Like if you throw a cute animal, usually that will hurt the animal, and then maybe someone said it would be fine if it's a turtle.
And you can definitely launch this turtle right into the lake.
Where's this
And
fucking
hopefully
turtle?
Henry will say something about it if you do, which is one of my favorite moments in the game. And then I think Turt Reynolds, the name you can choose for him, was a bad joke made by a guy who shares an office with us, Zach Johnson, from Kingdom of Loathing. He came out and said, "What about Turt Reynolds?" And we all groaned, and then I wrote it down.
And then we were like, well, now we have to have a turtle in the game.
Yeah. And then Turt made his debut at E3 2015 in the Firewatch E3 trailer, and people lost their silly minds.
Yeah, we were like, if we put Turd in this trailer, then we have to make it work in the finished game.
Yeah, we have to, he has to be
I think I've
the
already
cornerstone.
encountered the turtle.
And then, yeah, you can feed him when you put him in you can give him a granola bar when you put him in the
Yeah, I
box
think
back in your tower. I think that's still in the game. Yeah, you got all your wishes.
I know.
All right. Glad I came over here for that. Oops. Well, that's not bad. Nah, we'll save it. What is this stuff supposed to be? I feel like I can see the Photoshop brush that made this. Oops, not pressing that. So we were supposed to... Okay, Wapiti Station. Yeah, we're going towards the right way. Alright. Let's get to getting. That's interesting. I trust that's some Blair Witch shit right there. Oh, that's south. So let's just keep going. Oh, God. Keep pressing C to run. Because R feels weird.
Okay, I'm at the fence. I don't see anyone around, but I'm not sure I can get past it.
How big is it?
Big. It goes off in both directions. Acres.
What the fuck is going on out here?
Whatever it is, someone doesn't want anyone to know about it.
Sometimes biologists will cordon off a little area to study flora or whatever, but that's only a few square feet usually.
That's not what this is.
Well, see what you can do to get past it.
So here we are at the gate of what Henry only knows is Wapiti Meadow.
Soon to be known as Wapiti Station.
Dun dun dun. So we can even talk about how you actually technically don't have to come here on this day at all, but presuming you haven't done anything strange, you now have to attempt to break in to this weird fence that's just seemingly out of nowhere in the middle of the woods.
And realizing that the story needed that, we then were in a pickle where we went, well, we've never made you do anything like that before. Like, go and do an adventure game thing. Like, use an object with an object. And so we kind of put ourselves in a position via the story, and I think this is what I would classify as, like, not great game design, folks.
Correct.
Where I, for lack of, I mean, I'll take full credit, I guess, had pushed us into a place with the story where you needed to try to get into this place to justify going somewhere else less important to find a way to get in later. Because when you're telling a story, like, and then you have to kind of create a diversion, you don't want to be like, the most important thing you want is behind this gate, but you need to go elsewhere to get behind it. It's like the biggest, like, bugaboo of adventure game design, but we had written ourselves right into it, and the story was now like, or the game design was now subservient to the story, which is really bad if you're a game designer or an aspiring game designer.
Not the best place to be.
Not great. So Nels and Will and James set about piecing together the concept of being able to pick up things and then contextually change the action you could do with those things. And in terms of look and feel, I think you guys did a great job of being able to pick up the rocks that are to the left of the gate. There is, you probably don't know this player because it's very difficult to see, but there is a stick to the right of the gate.
And there's another one off to the left. Once you try to get in some fashion, the game is agnostic about which. Then you can say like, hey, Delilah, I don't think I can get in here. And of course, in like, you know, classic Firewatch fashion, there's a bunch of very subtle like micro branches where if you actually try to break in with all three of the things, Henry's like, I tried to smash it and break it, I can't do it. So there's like a little bit of reactivity there that's cool, but also me and James and Will basically had to go through like a baton death march to get this to work, just because nothing else in the game at all works this way. With like because the objects, they're in your hand, but then as you use them on the gate, then they're destroyed, but they have to go somewhere and it has to sync up with a special. It's just any one element that is complicated to do it in the game to make look nice, and it has like all 10 of them.
And it's not built on any sort of like reusable system, because
No.
we didn't imagine we were making a game where you would use thing on a thing like you do in like Monkey Island or whatever. But
Yeah.
we walked ourselves right to that, unfortunately. But I think you guys did a valiant job, and
Well,
I
thank you.
really love the way it actually feels to do it. I am just glad I wasn't the gameplay programmer on it. I'm very happy about that.
Lucky you.
All right, let's talk about this
It's like
place.
goddamn Area 51.
Maybe they've got aliens. That'd be exciting.
Yeah, we'll see about that. And what are the odds they left the gate unlocked?
Pretty low, I'd imagine.
Look, I'm not going to be able to get into this place.
Shit.
I don't know how long I can dick around out here until someone notices.
God, if you were an actual firefighter, you'd have that gate down in 2 shakes. Hey, actually, those guys doing the controlled burn, they might be able to help.
Where are they?
Beyond Ruby River, there's a scout camp. They burned a line a few days ago that should let you hike right to them.
Well, that's great.
If they haven't left, they're probably the type of guys who would help you get through that fence.
Well, cool. So we're coming up on 2 hours of Firewatch, so I think I might leave some of this for another day, and go and play another game for a little bit. Oh yeah, we're up here, Wapiti Station. Yeah, so let's back out of here. Let's figure out what else we want to play today. You know what? Oh, I know exactly what I want to try, which is Halo Wars. So, Halo Wars beta for one game mode, the Blitz game mode, has come out. And to give you some context, because I know if you've been watching Firewatch, this may be a drastic change of pace. I don't give a shit about Halo. I really enjoy real-time strategy games, and also this is free right now, so might as well give it a shot. Also, Creative Assembly, dear God, it is thundering outside. Creative Assembly, makers of Total War franchise. It's kind of interesting that they are getting in on this. So, let's see what this game has to offer. Oh, actually, there's tutorials, right? There it is.
Welcome to Halo Wars 2. My name is Captain James Cutter. It's important to keep an eye on the battlefield so you can react and plan your strategies accordingly. You can move your view around the map using the arrow keys or the mouse. Holding Alt while moving the mouse will rotate the view. Units can be selected by left-clicking on them. Hold left-click and drag to draw a selection box over a group of units. Alternatively, pressing Q will select all units on screen.
Cool.
Once units are selected, right-click is used to issue orders. Good luck, soldier, and I'll see you on the battlefield.
Did you just seriously tell me how to move the camera and select units? Like, that was it? Oh. Challenge other players. It's a fine match. Okay, alright. Capture more zones, claim energy cores to increase your energy rate.
Blitz mode. Powering up.
Welcome to your base. Every match starts here, and you can return when you need to heal and regroup. In Blitz, you win by scoring more points than your opponent. Do this by capturing control zones. Your starting army is waiting for orders. Reinforce them before moving out. Play the Marines card from your card hand.
2. I want to try and use as many quick keys as possible.
Nice work. Local units. Now your energy is low. You need to wait for your energy to replenish before playing more cards.
They come in
Keep
with
an eye out for energy cores. They drop periodically into the map and will permanently increase your energy income. Local units.
We're up.
There's one now. The enemy is trying to take that energy core. Get to it before they do.
Let's go, hell jumpers. We've got our orders. Let's go. By the numbers, team.
I'm shift clicking to see if they will destroy one before the other, and it seems to work.
Overkill.
Freddy's.
Collect all of the energy from that core.
Each
cell provides a boost to your energy income. Your energy income has increased nicely. You have enough energy to play another card.
With me.
Play the Cyclops.
On my way.
Alright, Cyclops is 3.
This unit looks hurt. That's because it wasn't played at your base.
Oh.
Its health and attack damage are reduced. This effect is called deployment fatigue. Fatigue ends after a few seconds.
Okay. So
If the unit avoids being hit while fatigued, its health is restored.
Zone B lost.
The enemy has captured the first control zone. Get there and take it away from them.
Show me where it hurts. Zone B contested.
Take out your targets and wrap this up fast. Sir, no problem.
trying to keep things up. All right.
Zone B captured. Kill.
You are now scoring points. Score 200 points to win a blitz match. Let's reinforce. Call in a warthog. This deck has some extra firepower. Unit cards with keywords. The Jackrabbit card you just drew has the blast keyword. If the Jackrabbit dies, it will explode, causing massive damage. Keywords like this can give you an edge in battle. Play the wild Jackrabbit now.
God, I missed it. What did he say it has? If it dies, it'll explode.
Nice work.
Zone A lost.
The enemy has taken another zone. Scoring has stopped. You can only score points if you control more zones than your opponent.
Zone
Standard
B
control point.
lost.
They've taken the last zone. Now the enemy is scoring. Time to turn this fight around. Capture one of the enemy-held zones and win the game. Your card hand is unlocked. Play any cards you need. Good luck.
On the move. Time.
Careful. That enemy marauder has the rally keyword. He's buffing his allies with bonus damage.
Restoration drones out. Lost the lead. Zone C captured.
All right.
Good work. You captured 2 zones. In a normal blitz match, you'll need to score 200 points to win.
Gained the lead.
We'll end this training round to let you jump into a real game. Try playing with my deck in a versus match, or a blitz firefight against the AI. Your card collection is waiting for you in the blitz menus if you want to inspect your armies.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you on the battlefield. It was a close
jeez.
call, but we're no strangers to those. Well fought.
What is? Oh, is it? Is it laggy? Is the Let's see, 4.6. Doesn't look like I'm dropping any frames. Sorry, I'm just trying to coordinate with the Heatseeker collaborators. Mission complete. Blitz tutorial. Card collection. My drop frames haven't moved any, but yeah, let me know if it's still looking shitty. So why am I at 29.97 frame rate? Should be 30. Locust. Grunts. Sniper. Trooper Warhog. Trooper Warhog. Oh shit. Here we go. Oh, what up, pimp? Oh no, that won't work. Yes, please show me video. All right. So we're testing out Skype capabilities here. Just to see what it would look like, and I guess if we go full screen in a Skype call, this is what it would look like. What up, Pamp? Oh, you probably don't have your audio set up yet. That is a big ass head. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, there we go. We'll get rid of the top banner. Sounds great to me.
Check.
Beautiful. A beautiful angelic voice.
Check.
I mean, some of us might say that you should manage your settings before you make the call, but it's fine. It's fine.
Check.
Yeah, sounds great. How will I know? Let's see, can I send a message through Skype?
Check. Hello, check. Can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, well. Make sure your output is set to your headphones. You know, we'll do the same thing. Oh no. So in our audio settings, boom, we can see, hey, that's our, ooh. Let's go. Test. Yep. So we can see Skype is getting our audio fine. And we can hear this. Which means we're good. Alright, cool. Well, we'll let him figure that out. Oh. Accept. Alright. You there? Okay. Okay. Did you test your playback in settings?
Hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I set my audio to the headphones. Like, I don't know what you want from me. Skype, why you gotta be like that? Weird. Okay, so you can hear me, and I can hear audio from my machine, but I can't hear audio from you in Skype.
I want to make sure that that's not me. Yeah, I'm glad you're here to.
Audio.
I'm glad you're here to. So the idea behind what we're doing now with this whole Skype situation is that eventually we want to have a weekly podcast where, I mean, Jeff and I and maybe other people will get together and talk about this week's gaming news.
Can you
talk
see
about.
Me?
I
imagine you can see me.
See him. But yeah, I mean, we're good, right? Yeah, we're good. Oh God, Amanda's here. Oh no. Anyway, so I want to find out a way to present this podcast. So it would either be with Skype or Google Hangouts or something like that. So bear with us as we troubleshoot this during our 3-year anniversary. Ayo, 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 ayo.
So I can actually hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can.
Weird. I wonder if it's because when I put the webcam on, it's like trying to use the webcam mic or something. How's it going, man?
So I can't use your webcam?
I mean,
Try it.
Try
Just
to
try it. Because I had your face looking
you,
real
hey,
good.
can you,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool. Great.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Great.
So I tune in. Maybe check out the stream because like your face is huge, and then I'm tiny green screen face in the bottom corner.
Because I'm not getting your face.
Yeah. Unfortunately, but my webcam is going to my laptop, and you are coming in on my desktop, so I can't use
this
it.
This is how you say incredibly anxiety ridden.
Look, I'm gonna need you.
Oh my god! That's a giant face.
I'm gonna need you to be an actor and act like I'm there. Okay.
No, I can see your tiny face in the bottom corner here.
Cool. Yep.
But
see, I like to look over at you. Hello, I wonder if I could put you in the green screen behind me. That would be, well, actually, you kind of are.
I'm behind you at this point. But how's it going, dude? How's life?
Jeff, Wizard of Oz. How do you feel about the Nintendo Switch? Oh no! Where did you go? Now I look like an asshole because I'm talking to a Skype screen.
Weird. Okay, I guess when I minimize Skype, it's like, hey, I don't want to show the video. But anyway, how's it going?
First, well, so Aaron in the chat is talking about using second HDMI cables and shit. I am doing that. We'll go over setup shit later, but don't worry about it. I'm doing great. I have consumed many beers before this
already.
Moment. Yep. I was playing Firewatch, and
and that'll drive you to drink.
No. Firewatch was my game of the year last year, son.
No, yeah. Hey, listen, I read the content on the website we work on. I'm there.
And occasionally generate it.
But yeah, you just decided to kick. I always forget about the time difference. You're actually in a drinking zone right now, whereas I am like barely in the drinking zone.
Look, the letters PM come after the time, which means you're good to drink.
Yeah, fair enough. It's 1:10 here, so I'm ready to rock.
Woo!
Yeah, I looked into grabbing that Halo Wars 2 beta, but unfortunately it requires Xbox Live to even play the beta, and I canceled my Live subscription when I stopped having Xbox consoles.
Wait. No, I don't have Xbox Live. I don't have an Xbox.
But you don't pay them at all?
No.
So
I mean, hold on. The only thing I pay Microsoft is $10 to get a new gamer tag.
Fair enough.
No, it's free on the Windows Store.
Well, yeah, I can see that. Scott.
I mean, all you do have to use the Xbox app to like sign in or something, but yeah.
Yeah, I use that thing a weird amount anyway. So compared to most normal humans, I actually use that thing to capture screenshots and stuff sometimes.
Oh, really?
That game bar is weird.
I've never used it.
It seems like it ought to be more functional than it is, but. It kind of depends on game, like how responsive it is.
Right.
Like I'll find myself in a moment where I'm like, oh, I really want to get a screenshot of this, and I'll hit the button and it'll lag out, and I'm like, oh, well, now the moment's passed. Thanks.
I usually just hit print screen, but since I have two monitors, it captures both monitors, so that's a little weird. I have to take it into Photoshop and cut it up.
So, so you have this ultra wide image that half of it is
like, it is very strange.
A desktop full of icons, and then also Hitman or
and
whatever.
And then because of OBS, like I just use OBS to capture game footage. So then it's like, well, what purpose do you serve Game Bar?
Yeah, it gets in the way, I guess. Now that I'm thinking about it, perhaps I'm taking a full.
Remember a
180.
time when the Xbox 360 controller, when you would press the center button on PC and it would bring up the Steam overlay? That was a good time.
Wasn't that great? When you could press that
Not
button
anymore.
and launch Big Picture. And,
Oh!
and then they decided, nah.
Now, we've got better utility for that button.
Yeah, get ready to check out your social feed with all 3 friends you have on Xbox Live. I don't know. I again, it would be more useful to me if I had people that wanted to play games on Xbox Live with me. But that's you. You're you're here to play some.
Sometime we'll play Halo Wars. I did the tutorial right before you called.
Oh, right on.
It's
how is it?
It's interesting. Well, it has a card system.
Yeah. When I was looking at the screens, it was like, oh, so this is like you're doing what you did with what is the name of that mode in Halo 5, Warzone, and you're applying that to an RTS.
Okay, I didn't play Warzone, so I didn't know there was a precedent.
So Warzone is a large scale. They kind of battlefielded Halo it's a sloppy way to put it, but it's a larger area. There are creeps in it. There's neutral enemy forces that you get points for slaying, and then you build your loadout with card packs.
Aaron is saying it's like Yu-Gi-Oh, which I don't know, and I guess because it has cards, maybe.
Yeah,
but
it features cards. Not sure about the presence of trap cards in Halo 5 Guardians, but I didn't play much of it. Yeah.
So I
there's a precedent for card packs in Halo. Is basically what that
that's good. I didn't play much of it, but I did after I completed a match, I was awarded cards, and in the match I had 4 cards, and then throughout the match I was earning energy to spend on those cards.
Right.
So it wasn't too bad, but I guess before you go into a match, you'd be like, oh man, I want my Scarab card, and I want my rocket artillery card, and
you'd be picking you're picking whatever loadout.
Yeah, some of it is like units, and then some of it is like off map ordnance and stuff. So it could be cool. I mean, I was watching streams earlier, and there were definitely moments where like a giant fucking robot showed up, and it was pretty intense, and nobody knew how to deal with it. So I'm sure there could.
Is it like what's the multiplayer? What is the splits mode? Is it 1v1? What's the?
From what I've seen of Blitz, it can be like 4v4. You can do 1v1 as well. Yes. Yep.
Like, could we team up versus another 2? Ooh, that's hot. I'm into that.
If you can figure out how to use a PC, yes, you can.
Hey, hey Scott. I'm too busy playing.
Thank you for joining me, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah,
for being here. Just blame the beer. This is Mexican beer. I think it induces
assholatry.
No, nope. That's not what I would say. Okay. I'm sure there's a better term.
It's very weird. It's very weird seeing you say what I heard you say 30 seconds ago on the stream instead of seeing your face in Skype.
Yeah.
I just want to call out.
You don't have to keep watching the stream. I just wanted to see what this layout looks like for possible.
I gotta see my face and your face to get the proper effect here. I gotta see you with that huge Mexican beer situation. I actually have some Japanese beer waiting for me that I haven't cracked open.
Well, don't try to outculture me, you son of a bitch.
I'm not. Hey, listen, I don't have to try.
Okay. Wow. Wow. There's nowhere to go from here but up. Can we be the first contentious podcast where the members?
The first contentious podcast? You think really the first one?
Well. I think so. I think didn't Fox News have a show where they're like, let's bring on a Democratic correspondent just to shit on constantly. Can we just be that for game podcasts?
Yeah. Wasn't that what was that thing? Because it got canceled, right?
I think so.
It was Crossfire, and then
Probably.
Jon Stewart went on there and was like, "This is dumb," and then it got canceled.
He has that power.
It's kind of the short version of that story. Is like he was like, "Why are you guys doing this?" And they were like, "Yeah, I guess you're right." But yeah, I've been other than being unable to operate a personal computer, I've been spending a lot of time playing Long War 2
You know,
before XCOM 2.
I was gonna sit here and be like, "Hey, Jeff, let's structure this thing out. Let's talk about these games that we're playing. Let's talk about what's
'Cause
coming up
I'm
in the future." And you just seamlessly transition.
Consummate professional, bro. I know how to do this thing.
Okay.
That's not true. I'm totally flying by the seat of my pants. But yeah, XCOM 2, a game that I love very much, and
the record shows it. The record being our
shows it.
website.
Yeah. It was my number 3 game of the year. It has some issues, but a lot of those issues kind of fall to the background because of just how satisfying the core mechanics of that game are and the experience that it provides. And Long War being kind of a legendary mod for the first XCOM reboot and its expansion, the team behind that were commissioned by Firaxis to make a sequel to that mod, which is kind of a weird thing, like the idea of a sequel to a mod.
Right.
But it just came out, I believe, Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been digging into that thing and getting my ass handed to me. And
So what do you think? What are like the core tenets of Long War? This being the second iteration, like what makes up Long War? Why is it?
So why? So Long War. Well, I guess to preface it, like a lot of the strengths of the first XCOM reboot that kind of brought the franchise back into the limelight. The strengths of that game were that it streamlined a lot of the hard to understand and unnecessarily punishing parts of the original UFO Enemy Unknown / XCOM UFO Defense. From 93. I should really know the date on that. 94. Anyway, it took a lot of the kind of antiquated concepts of that super punishing strategy game and streamlined them and made it easy. And at the risk of sounding pejorative, like it consoleized them and made it easy to port that game to. No, but like I think in a positive way, it streamlined the game and made it easier for people to understand. I still recommend that first game as like an entry point for anyone interested in turn-based strategy who hasn't played those kinds of games.
Mm-hmm.
But as a result, a lot of the tactical decisions were a bit abstracted. They kind of came down to one or two resources and kind of there was an understood way to approach the game. So when they went about building the Long War mod for the first game, they kind of added back in a lot more tactical options and choices. They kind of gave you more rope with which to hang yourself.
Right.
Like it was like a lot more weapon types, a lot more classes. Your aim was reduced such that you had to spend an action steadying your weapon in order to get even kind of workable aim. So you end up moving units, and instead of just putting everyone on Overwatch and making them ready to kill anything that moved, you had to choose selectively. Okay, I want this person to have higher aim next turn, and I want this person to be on watch.
Right.
So they've taken a lot of those tenets and they've done the same sort of thing. I mean, Long War is an amplification of what makes XCOM good, in my opinion. Is like it took the streamlined strategy aspects and then blew all of it out and made it gave you more to work with. And XCOM 2 kind of took the lessons learned from Long War and put it into the vanilla game. So Long War 2 is similarly, it expands on both the mechanics and the themes of XCOM 2. I mean, when the game was first announced, it was announced with a trailer that kind of showed a shadowy group infiltrating an area and kind of doing like a stealth style mission. And, there is a concealment mechanic in vanilla XCOM 2, but it's mostly just mostly a way to accelerate the pace at which you get into combat.
Yeah, because it seems like it's pretty much there. If I understand it correctly, it's just there for the first couple of turns until you get into combat, and then it's never there again.
Yes, and the idea, and there are perks for classes that allow you to re-enter concealment, but that's like one unit because you're not going to be bringing. Usually, you're not going to be bringing 6 of the same class on a mission in vanilla. So
it seems like in vanilla, concealment was just for like initial positioning.
Yes, exactly. It was about creating an ambush to start your combat, because in the first game, you always move very carefully because at any time you could activate some enemies and suddenly be, surrounded or flanked. So you would kind of crawl forward, and they wanted to address that in the sequel. So they created this concealment mechanic that accelerated those first few turns. So what Long War 2 does is it takes the ideas from the marketing of XCOM 2 and tries to more directly implement them in the mechanics. Concealment, especially in the early game of Long War 2, becomes way more important. I played a mission yesterday, and there is a stream archive on Twitch, twitch.tv/RPGF.
Don't pimp yourself on my stream.
Hey, buddy.
No,
just in case people want to see it. So there was so you tend to stay in concealment longer because, especially in the early game, you can't risk getting into conflict as readily. So that's part of it, and also you have a lot more troops to work with. You're deploying multiple squads to missions before going on them. Like a mission will pop up in XCOM 2, and you set up your squad, and then you go do the mission immediately. In Long War 2, a mission pops up. You choose which squad members to infiltrate on that mission, and that takes a few days. And depending on how much time you spend infiltrating, that changes the number of enemies you're going to encounter.
Oh, okay.
And depending on how many people you bring on the mission, that makes infiltration easier or harder.
Yeah.
So you find yourself bringing small teams of people to try to do stealth missions, or if you have the time, you bring a larger team rather.
Right.
So it's it adds like another layer of planning, so that you're like, oh, I've deployed 3 teams, and now this other mission came up, and I have like 4 rookies left. Like, do I even want to bother trying to take on this mission? Like, well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. So, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg, and I still need to get deeper into it. But it's as someone who's played 200 hours of XCOM 2, it's very exciting to know that there's.
How much of Long War would you say you've played? Was it just last night's stream or
Long War 1 or Long War 2?
2, sorry.
Like
2.
Like not even 6 hours yet.
Okay.
Like it's last night's stream was kind of the bulk of it. I had started a campaign on veteran, which is kind of normal difficulty, and really roundly got my ass handed to me on Thursday and Friday. So I decided to on Thursday rather. So I decided to restart on rookie, kind of like be a little bit more humble about it. Like, okay, well, clearly this thing is a lot harder than vanilla XCOM, so I shouldn't harbor any delusions about being able to play it on normal yet.
Right.
Plus, I just want to have fun with the mechanics. I mean, they're so fascinating. I just love poking around at numbers and slotting people into positions and stuff. So
yeah. Oh, Aaron in the chat says he's played, so that's awesome. Got
Killer,
some appreciation.
Yeah. That's good. That game deserves a lot more credit than it's gotten. I know it's won a bunch of Game of the Year awards from various outlets, but I really do. For me personally, it's probably my favorite strategy game of all time. Like it's fantastic.
It's weird because I feel like I've seen so much of it because of you and Giant Bomb and stuff. It's like I don't feel the need to get it for some reason because I've seen so much of it.
Yeah, I mean it's really, it comes down to if you're into that tactical combat, it really ends up being like it's the mechanics of the encounters. If you're really satisfied by moving people around and flanking enemies and stuff, if you can really get into that, like it's just an endless faucet of that experience.
Look, as someone who can remember specifically in middle school drawing graph paper maps of Advanced Wars levels, yes,
Yeah.
I can appreciate turn-based
dude.
strategy games, and especially and we're doing a preview of Pit People right now, so
dude,
turn-based strategy is a thing we can all appreciate.
I need to get that Pit People. That thing looks pretty cool.
It's
funny
definitely.
and like that'll go very, very far in my book. Like we need more games that are explicitly comedy. I think that it's an unexplored genre. I mean, you've got things like Jazz Punk and Stanley Parable and etc. that like have done great work in that space, but I'm always happy to see what
Oh god damn it. I wanted to reference what's the fucking porn game?
what? Oh, the new one that's coming.
No. Oh, nice.
Hey.
Nice. No, the old series with the male character. What's
Leisure
his name?
Suit Larry?
Leisure Suit Larry. Oh,
Yes.
that's what I was gonna reference as a comedy game, and I missed it. So don't
It
worry
is
about
a comedy game. Monkey Island, also I would say, is a comedy series of games. But yeah, like there's room for that stuff now, and I want to see more of it.
Well, we'll work on that then.
Work on it, Scott. Come on.
All right. Well, what else? What else have we been playing?
Yeah.
Actually,
what have you played recently?
Oh, you know what I played this to start out this stream was Mealmate, which is a fucking weird game that Amanda saw on the Android App Store, and I found on itch.io, and it's, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I think it's supposed to be.
Oh, wait. I think I'm seeing this nightmare right now.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be like a Tamagotchi style thing.
Oh God, this thing is horrifying and amazing.
So it's like a pet that you take care of by playing mini games, like WarioWare style mini games that you use to make money. Then you buy food to feed your pet, and then eventually you eat the pet.
This art is confronting.
Yeah. It's
like, but also I'm really stoked that someone's doing this.
Yeah, honestly, so I played. I mean, I think it's been out for a while, but I played it, and it kind of feels like somebody's first project where they're trying out a bunch of different things in a game design program to see if they can do it. That's what those like mini games felt like. I mean, it was a fun like 30-minute joke, but then I think I'm good because it started the game's repeated, and I'm like I don't.
So you feel like there isn't a lot of depth there in terms of like you're not like prestiging as you eat the pet.
So you eat the pet, and then you find out there's a star rating, and that you can get your pets up to different stars, so different quality ratings. So there is a game there.
But what does that do? Like, does that actually carry over to your next pet? Like, I feel like that's the most obvious. That sort of progression will be the most obvious kind of like, you look at roguelike games or run-based games, as it were, like stuff like Rogue Legacy. You have that carryover. So I was wondering if that would be.
Not that I could tell. It seemed like just, hey, a 5-star one's going to take a long time. Amanda in the chat is pointing out Radiator 2. I hope she's not suggesting that a game about homosexuality is somehow a comedy game, because that would be very offensive to Jeff's sensibilities.
I can't. Well, wait a minute. Not specifically to mine. I mean, it is because
as a man of the world. I mean,
I am a man of the world. I consider myself that, certainly. I'm trying to think about what else I've been playing. Hitman. Been playing a bit of that Hitman.
I keep thinking that now is the time that I'll start Hitman, but I haven't.
Now is the time to get Hitman, I think. If you can. I mean, even if you can score a deal on it, it's probably worth it. I mean, that's what I did. I got it on Black Friday, and man, I still haven't beaten all the core missions because I've been replaying them as I go. Kind of, I wanted to give what.
That's the impression I get is people keep saying like, oh, the way to experience this game was the way it came out, where you just play the first level over and over and over again, and then you move on to the second level and you play that over and over again. Because some people are buying it and then just playing the mission straight through and just seeing everything. It's like, well, that kind of wasn't the way this was intended to be.
Well, I mean, I don't think that that's a wrong way to play the game necessarily, but I think that if your idea is that you're going to play through each of those missions and then be done with it, like then you're probably not Hitman material. Yeah. And I think that if you start to play that game and you play, I mean, I had intended to kind of go. I kept waffling on it. I was like, I should probably see all the maps and then go back, or like, blah blah. But I found myself that after I had beaten Paris, and then moved on to Sapienza, I realized after playing Sapienza once, I was like, but now I want to go back to Paris and get my mastery up. I want to go get those costumes. I want to do those challenges. The challenge system in the game is really smart. It has a lot of really interesting options in terms of like. It's good at giving you challenges that seem just possible enough that you want to try them, but hard that you need to really think about how to get them done.
Okay.
And again, it just like I was saying before, it comes down to if you like sneaking around and throwing fire axes at people and stuff.
What if you like pina coladas?
And getting caught in the rain? I haven't experienced any rain or pina coladas in Hitman.
Okay.
But you
I think
can
there's an
dress
opening
up
there.
you can dress up like a sheik.
Oh.
You can dress up like a vampire magician. You could be dressed up like a vampire magician and then shoot a lady on a balcony with a sniper rifle. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun things going on in that game, and I'm excited that I'm getting to take my time with it because now that they've said there's going to be a second season, I kind of want to stretch out my content.
Okay, so they have said second season for this
second
game.
Season is confirmed, and they have confirmed that it will be released as a part of this platform. So I imagine you'll be able to buy a separate version of it that is just second season, but it'll be the same executable if you own Hitman Season 1.
Yeah, so I know you can buy like Paris, I guess, as a $15 game. Can you do that for each of the other missions, or do you buy the $15 first thing and then pay to have other levels added in?
So you buy. My understanding is that you buy $15 gets the first. You get the introductory level in Paris, and then the other stages are 5 each. Hold on, let me take a look. I might not be able to even see it on the store because of the fact that I own it, but let's go to the store page.
Okay.
No, yeah, just hold on. Just come on, don't you steamroll passes. I'm gonna look.
Nope.
I'm gonna look.
I'm just thinking about how.
Yeah, it looks like it's $10 per map.
Okay.
And then so $15 gives you the prologue in the first episode, $10 for the episodes after that, and then so basically if you want to get all 5 other episodes in addition to that intro pack, it's another $50 on top of the 15.
So I guess my question is like, what's the difference between that and a second game? Is there a price that you pay for like the whole package where like, oh, you pay $60 up front and you get everything that comes out for Hitman?
Yeah, there was. Okay. There was the $60 that you paid to get the entire first season and the little bonus thing that they added in, which was like a remixed version of one of the maps with different objectives. So I imagine for the second season, it will be the same where it'll either be you pay $60 for the entire second season if you don't own Hitman, or you'll pay $50, I would hope anyway, you pay $50 for the second season if you purchased the first season of Hitman. Yeah. That's just projection on my part, but it seems likely.
It's just a weird thing to call it season 2 then for me, as opposed to like it just Hitman. Well, I mean, what's the difference between Hitman 2 and Hitman Season 2? I don't know.
Well, the thing, I guess the thing would be this, like if you're buying that second season and all it's really doing is installing the same shell that exists for Hitman 1 and then it has different content in it, then at that point I think it's fair. Because like if I have Hitman installed and I buy this second season when it comes out and it's DLC, that's why. It's what's the word? It's a little bit pedantic.
Yeah.
It's a semantics argument. It's kind of like a splitting hairs thing. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, why not separate it out? And I think it's because they want to stack on top of the kind of word of mouth that has built the game up.
And I think it leaves them open to do something very different with a actual sequel to a proper sequel to this, where like maybe they're introducing multiplayer things, maybe they're going in crazy different directions with a second, whereas this is just like, hey, here's more of that stuff.
Yeah, they could do a second season of Hitman. You could see them doing a second season of Hitman and being on like a 2-year cycle where like, okay, cool, and now we've done all the content for Hitman 2016. Now it's time for Hitman : subtitle season 1, and like Hitman : subtitle will probably have like, co-op Hitman, and I don't know that they would ever do that, but it would be pretty cool if they did. Running around. I always love cooperative stealth. I'm just gonna briefly soapbox here. Where that Splinter Cell at?
Did you play Blacklist?
I absolutely did play Blacklist.
I did.
And it's a good video game.
What was the
in
one
my opinion.
before that? Start with a C.
No, that's not the one. Because wait, hold on. Let's look. Maybe you're right. Maybe Chaos. No,
Wasn't
Chaos
that
Theory wasn't.
not Chaos Theory, but it was the one where I remember the trailers had like projected text.
Splinter Cell.
Confrontation.
Conviction.
Conviction. C. Motherfucker.
Yep. No, you were absolutely right.
I didn't play that game, but I remember seeing
Conviction was okay. It was a different kind of game.
Yeah. Okay.
It didn't feel. Yeah. It was. Yeah.
Chaos Theory was the last one I played, so like.
Yeah. So I guess it was Double Agent, Conviction, Blacklist. Blacklist, man, just having those co-op missions, having those being able to go with a friend into a situation and kind of.
I don't think I ever saw any multiplayer in that game. I was not even aware it had it.
I played a touch of it, here and there, probably 6 to 10 hours of it, and it was fun. It was fun to do multiplayer takedown stuff because they had designed the multiplayer cooperative missions in such a way that like they're very difficult to do without a co-op partner because there's a lot of simultaneous takedown stuff that has to happen. Right. And that's what you want. Like if you're doing a co-op stealth game, you want to have that experience where like I'm going to grab this guy, shoot this guy, you grab that guy and like throw a smoke grenade or whatever, like like having those kind of plans play out
and having a moment where you're like, all right, on one, we're both going to shoot. You're going to shoot that guy and I'm going to shoot this guy. 3, 2, 1. Okay, yeah, that does sound
exactly.
Right.
Or like okay, on 3. Wait, on 3 or at 3? Like those kinds of moments where you're like very much like, or something goes wrong with one of your things, and nobody knows what's happening for like 15 seconds because the other person's just going shit, like
yeah.
like what happened? Like oh, this guy's not dead, or I missed the prompt or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I would like to see more of that. But I guess Ghost Recon Wildlands is sort of
does that look good to you? I
don't know, man. I like, to be honest with you, I, at least personally, like I'm not thirsty for big open world stuff these days. Like I don't, even something that was appealing to me, like Mafia 3 was something that I was excited about, but just not excited enough to buy and play, I guess. Yeah. I imagine I'll eventually get around to that game just because I think the narrative and stuff seems pretty awesome. The setting's cool, but it takes that to get me into an open world. And even something like Horizon Zero Dawn, right? That game looks fantastic, but I mean that in like the literal sense, like it's visually impressive. Like right. I'm not super stoked about pseudo.
I'm just like, dude, what? When was the last time Guerrilla proved that they could like?
Listen, I guess that's kind of. I really hope that game's great. I don't know that I'll play it, but it would be really cool to see Guerrilla do something that isn't Killzone and be successful at it.
Yeah, I honestly was thinking about this today because this is the Giant Beast cast where they were talking about sympathetic antagonists, and I was like, man, I've carried this moment with me throughout my life where I remember the first Killzone. At the end, you have the antagonist accusing your character of being the aggressor, and that they are just they are the victims here. And I was like, oh man, that really turned things on their head. Like I was like, I started to rethink all the things that I'd done in the game, and maybe I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
And like I start to wonder if that moment ever even happened, because Killzone 2 and 3 were just like such just normal run-of-the-mill military shooters.
I think the plight of the Helghast and of Helghan, that runs through those games. I mean, Shadowfall,
which I didn't play, to be fair.
Yeah, I played maybe half of that game. It was, it was a game.
It was forgettable.
It was a video game, and it was pretty at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the idea that, that game opens and it's very much about like, oh, cool. So now all the Helghast are in these ghettos in this thinly veiled class and race metaphor.
Like this Cold War metaphor, right? Like this
that
Berlin
too, right?
Wall.
Like the idea of the curtain between and that. And then I don't know if they ever actually pay that off in that game. I admit ignorance there, but Yeah, it seems like Guerrilla's interested in telling cool stories. It's just they've been trapped with this franchise that has kind of like fallen out of favor. Like nobody, I don't think people are stoked on a game called Killzone in 2017. You know, like
Yeah, it doesn't. I feel like that name doesn't leave you open to much nuance.
right. I mean, it's yeah, it's tough to take something called Killzone that was originally this like hyper macho, like we're the Halo killer.
Yeah.
Really though? Hey, listen, I like Killzone though. First Killzone, that's a good pretty video game. That's cool stuff. It's got some cool levels. It was fun. Yeah,
I mean,
like you said, it
2
had
had
some
Rico.
So let's not talk about Killzone 2 or 3.
Rico. I
yeah.
think 2 had a little bit of it had some interesting bits in it, but 3 I think just threw it all out. I mean, it just was completely mediocre. Can we just take a quick break real quick because I've drank much beer and I need to alleviate myself. So
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna put us on the standby screen. Take 2 minutes. I'm gonna get another beer and
Killer. Sounds
relieve.
good. I think I will join you.
Okay, we'll be right back. All right, so we're back.
All right.
Fresh brews. Before we get started, I just want to line out some things I want to talk about in case I.
No,
forget.
absolutely.
I mean, of course, what we're playing. Of course, news. I want to talk about the Switch, and then I just kind of want to talk about some of our hopes for the site, what we want to do this year for the website. I think that's
on top of you here. Hold on.
No problem.
Great.
So you were talking about something that I can't remember now, but I wanted to transition to Doom. Oh, it was challenges, because that was one of the things that actually turned me around on Doom. Because I remember playing the first hour or two and being like, yeah, this is pretty standard. I mean, I don't understand what all the hype's about. But I think after that is when I started paying attention. Like I would hit tab every time I got into a map, and I would look at the challenges, and then I would get the rune challenges, then get the weapon challenges, and all of a sudden there were a lot
Right.
more nebulous things to start working towards. And
Yeah, at the risk of interrupting you here, I do think that like part of Doom is it gives you a lot of tools with which to work and to engage with the game, like the combat. But like the challenges are what kind of bring that into focus.
yeah,
Did you play it on Hurt Me Plenty, or did you play it on Nightmare, or what did you play it on
Hurt
hard?
Me Plenty, I think. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
the normal.
So I played the game on Hurt Me Plenty the first time through, but upon going back and playing it on Nightmare, I feel like the number of enemies and the way that the game forces you to navigate and engage with the glory kill system, like as a necessity
Yeah.
in Nightmare, like that's kind of more like that is like an inherent way of forcing you to do that stuff. But I do think that those challenges and the root challenges are like a way of getting you to kind of formally engage with that stuff. So yeah, they're really smart, especially when you first get that one with the super shotgun and it's like kill 3 demons with 1 shot.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do that.
On one hand, it's like it's surfacing things you wouldn't think about, like ways to use those weapons. And on the other hand, it's like it's also with the weapon challenges and rune challenges and all that stuff. It's like it's forcing you, or it's asking you, inviting you to play the game in a way that you wouldn't normally. Because otherwise, I would have just used the regular shotgun the entire time. Because like the first upgrade I got is that like the bomb that you can do with it, and it's like
the explosive shot.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna just use this forever. But no, because the challenges are trying to get you to try other things, and all of a sudden, by the end of the game, I'm using a bunch of different weapons for a bunch of different enemies because I've experimented with them.
Right, and it teaches you in a very organic way. Like, or I don't even want to say teaches you. It offers you the opportunities to learn your own way through. Like you can go, oh, I like these 3 guns because I like to use the Gauss rifle for this, and I like to use the shotgun for imps, and like that sort of thing. Like you're saying, like it invites you to learn what loadout works for you. Whereas in a lot of other games, maybe you would just be like, I really like the machine gun, so it's time to kill everything with the machine gun.
Yep.
But yeah, again, the level design, I think the game takes a little while to really fulfill its potential in terms of level, the level design and kind of navigation. When you get the double jump, it really starts to to open up dramatically.
And one thing I wasn't expecting that it does, you actually jump back and forth between Hell and Mars, which I was not expecting. I was like, oh, Hell's the end game. We're gonna go there and finish the game. I was like, no, you're gonna be pulled back and forth.
No, you're gonna come back out, and I really like that first moment when you come back from Hell.
Yeah.
And you're kind of in the ruined map that you were just in.
Yeah.
Obviously, no secret. Like I love Doom a lot, but I do think that it has a lot more going on than maybe might be first apparent when you look at it. And I am surprised to hear you say that you felt like it was relatively run-of-the-mill even initially, because the combat feels very old school in a way that a lot of more recent shooters don't. But that might just be a consequence of like you. Correct me if I'm wrong here. You're not playing many shooters each year. So,
nope.
Yeah, so it might just be that like you're like, yep, this is a shooter, whereas a lot of people are like, oh, this is a throwback.
The thing I noticed initially was like, okay, my walk speed is very fast. Like that was the thing I noticed initially, but like that in and of itself is like, okay, well, I can see that slider being pulled up, but otherwise it was like, okay, this is a gray shooter and I'm gonna move, go this direction and fight enemies. Whereas once they introduced the idea of secrets and challenges and all that, well, now there's a reason for me to look around. Now there's a reason for me to pull up my map and find other places to go. Like
as soon as you realize, oh, there's stuff off the beaten path, there's a reason to explore these environments. You get that exciting and, in my opinion, very Doom thing where like you kill all the enemies in an area, and then you're like, sweet, now it's time for Doom guy to look around at stuff. Like now honestly, it's time to walk around, look for a little mini figurine.
And I don't know if this is for everybody, but the first thing I upgraded was my map shit. Like I upgraded like finding
100%.
secrets the first.
yeah, I wanted to get as much of that stuff as I can. Then as soon as you realize, oh shit, I can't get all this stuff immediately. I have to circle back. I have to wait until I have more abilities. Yeah, it's a very promising reboot for that franchise. And maybe there's a world where we don't need Doom. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like maybe there's a world where we don't need to reboot that. But I'm glad that because they did choose to reboot Doom, I'm glad that it came out as something that is in the spirit of the original game and not overly beholden to it. Like it seems like they have room to do a lot of interesting stuff with a sequel to that game that could, I don't know, that could hopefully forge a new path for what AAA shooters can be. Because I feel like we have similarly narrowed down what a first-person shooter can be in the age of Battlefield and Call of Duty, where I would like that genre to become interesting again. And I think this is weirdly enough, for it being a throwback game based on the original first-person shooter of note, like it is kind of showing that, oh, cool, like, the games like this in Overwatch, it was a great year for shooters. I mean, it really was. Like,
I mean, and people talk about the Call of Duty and Battlefield campaigns as being some of the best of at least those franchises.
Absolutely. And I don't mean
to.
And
Super Hot, a game that I have been playing. I mean, I don't know if you consider that a first-person shooter, but
I consider that
it's kind of a puzzle game.
It's a puzzle game, but it is.
If you consider Portal a first-person shooter, then maybe you'll consider it.
Right. Well, it's like the thing with Superhot is that it is a puzzle game that uses the language of first-person shooters in a really satisfying way.
That's a good way to put it.
And that's what I mean. Like, I want more of that shit. Like, I want them to I want people to explore this space now that it's fully understood. When you think about the evolution of platformers over time, the reason you get things like, you get these big moments like Super Metroid, like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, like the reason you get those games is because we fully understand the language of how to make a platformer, and then we apply it in different ways. So I'm hoping we're finally there where we've kind of explored what we can do in the first person. Now let's get experimental with it again.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good way to transition into Superhot, which I've also been playing some of.
Have you beaten that game yet?
Have I what?
Have you beaten that game yet?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm probably 3 hours in.
Okay. Have you gotten the ability yet? The second ability?
Yes. The jump into people.
Around it. Yeah,
well, no, I mean I if I had not known about it, I would be mad that you told me because I had no idea that was in the game.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sorry that I spoiled that in my write-ups, but I
didn't. I mean, I did read your write-up, but I must have skimmed over that.
Oh, good. That's great. Because when you get that, you're like, oh, shit.
Okay.
Because it really, I didn't know about that at all when I started playing the game. So, you play those first few levels, and you're like, yeah, killer. Like, this is great. I love these mechanics. And then they introduce this thing that, expands it so much that you're like, oh shit, now I have this entire other tools to work with.
Because anytime somebody talks about sort of oh shit moments in Superhot, I just assume that it's all that meta computer stuff,
right?
Which I'm also digging.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird coming off of Frog Corrections 2, a game which is based around old computer nostalgia and appreciation, which I didn't get because I don't have that point of reference, and then going to Superhot where it has that but in a very approachable, you can't really fuck this up. It's what to do here. It looks cool and old, but it's not going to get in your way.
It's not so specifically relying on one reference point. It's kind of a pastiche of that era of computing,
I feel like it's kind of like Alien Isolation, where they're like, let's capture the kind of look and feel of 80s computers, but you understand.
Yeah, it is similarly, it is the 80s, 90s computer aesthetic, but in 2020 because we have cyberspace.
Yeah.
Which is, again, Alien Isolation, for being a flawed game, I don't think anyone could look at that game visually and say it's not a like visual masterpiece. That thing is beautiful. Like
can we both at least hold it against Ryan Cheeks for never finishing that game?
Oh, did he not finish it?
Oh, he's scared. He's afraid of it.
Here's the thing. That game's like, what is it, like 20 to 30,000 hours long?
It is over
like it is
long.
like a super long game. It's too long.
Yeah.
But
I think he just got to the end of that and he was like, nope. He just noped the fuck out of there.
Hey, it's a spooky game. The Xenomorph.
I mean, don't stream that shit to me and then not finish it.
Why don't you be a little bit more entitled? Okay?
Yeah, I am entitled to the end of that game, Ryan.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Man, that guy's he's putting in work in the survival horror genre. Okay, he's streaming Resident Evils and shit. Like,
well, he's been streaming that demo. Yeah. I'm man, I guess that's a good transition.
Yeah,
Let's talk about Resident Evil 7.
I'm excited to play Resident Evil 7, and are you going to stop
excited
out all of our satisfying segues?
Yes to both.
Okay.
Yes. No. I'm excited to see it. I don't know that I'm excited to. I'm not excited to play it. I know that for sure.
I'm pretty interested in the game. I think that the first person direction is a cool way for them to go. Game's got guns in it. It's got herbs in it. I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess I haven't seen anything outside of that kitchen demo. So okay, that is a representation of what the game will look and feel like. That's not just like a little prologue.
I haven't played the game and I can't speak to its content.
I just didn't know if there was other content out there that I didn't know about.
So there are two demos. There's the kitchen demo and then there's the lantern demo, and those together are indicative, sort of the game. My understanding from reading preview coverage is that there's, there's guns in that game. You're gonna get weapons. Like you're gonna fight back. And
you're gonna eat herbs to heal yourself. Like I didn't see lantern either.
You're collecting herbs. Like there are short videos that the Resident Evil YouTube channel had posted, short 15-second teasers, and one of them does feature open this cabinet. There's an herb.
Okay.
Get in the herb. Got to get that herb, son.
Because I'm like, how far are we going? Shedding sort of the conventions of Resident Evil in this game.
Again, no first-hand experience with any preview version of the game, but from what I have read, it does seem like almost the opposite, where they're going, no, we're going back to the feel and core mechanics of the first Resident Evil. We're going back to ammo conservation, collecting herbs, puzzles based on weird items. They're doing that stuff. It's just that they're doing it in first person. So that game is fast approaching. Isn't that game coming out next week or something?
Yeah. Yes.
Holy cow.
I think I'm excited by a lot of what you said, except the puzzles. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Well, even getting rid of moving past adventure games and stuff. It's we move past that as a mechanic. There's, looking at.
I think it's a very risky thing to say that we've moved past anything as a mechanic.
Well, I'm saying we should. We should be moving past. Well, I mean, not
Lord of video games.
Well, no, and I don't want to say hey, let's not use items in puzzles. I'm saying that obscure, hey, there's a seal and you got to combine the three. Let's have a logical consistency in our puzzles. Let's have things that make sense so that it's a logic puzzle rather than
and I'm pretty sure that again, this is I'm remembering previews I read a month ago, so it's kind of hard for me to. But I remember people saying positive things about the puzzles, and it didn't seem like they were Stockholmed Resident Evil fans who played through Resident Evil 6 and loved it. These are people that are regular humans that have normal tastes.
It seemed at least in the kitchen stuff that I saw, the puzzles made sense. I mean, I'm not remembering a whole lot of puzzles, but it was, I guess it was the key goes to this cabinet, but I don't remember seeing anything and being well, why the fuck would I put that there? The old adventure game thing of you just got to combine every item with everything you can interact with.
I would be very surprised if the game featured puzzles that were that frustrating.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you said, there's an awareness that people don't want arbitrary in their games in any sense. A lot of people don't want
Well, somebody tell Tim
not know
Schafer
why
because
that.
I'm still scarred by Double Fine Adventure.
Yeah, Broken Age did not. I did not finish that game.
I liked
didn't.
the art. I liked a lot of the
It's a
writing.
beautiful game.
Some of the
great
puzzles
voice
were
acting.
good, but
Yeah.
okay. There was a moment in that game
Okay, let's get serious.
where you know what you need the snake has. Oh god, Alexa's talking to me. She thinks I'm talking to her. You go up to the snake, it drops on you and starts choking you, right?
Right.
So me, being a logical person, I'm like, get that snake off of me. So you get the snake off, and you're like, okay, so something here, I need to get around the snake. Spend hours looking around. No. The solution to that problem is to let that snake choke you until it gets tired of choking you. You just assume that this thing that's killing you will just stop at some point. Why? Why is that logical? What video game? There's no dialogue in the game to hint at that.
That's I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that that's a bad puzzle.
That is. I agree, and that is not a one-time thing in that game. That is that is the way that game was designed consistently.
But again, in their defense, they were making a game that was funded by people who wanted an old game.
I agree for the most part, but I feel like,
I understand. Hey, I'm with you. I think it's a bad decision, but I also think that there was maybe pressures from backers of that game to really recapture that specific 90s feel, and maybe that was some kind of misguided attempt to do that. Wow, yeah, that's
and like I mean, I wish there was like a hint system or anything else in that game where they're like, hey, we understand this isn't for everybody because the fucking genre died. Maybe we should figure out why this genre went away and let's address those issues so that it's not just
aggressive.
Okay, I'm
Pretty
sorry.
aggressive.
I'm being
There have been-
hyperbolic, but there was nothing to fall back on.
Yeah, for sure. Like you can't just. There were no prominent modern examples for them to balance out between the classic 90s version of that sort of genre and the new modern take. I mean, when you look at games like the Telltale games, those are so different in terms of being adventure games that they almost.
What about like the Fall, maybe?
Would you consider that?
I can't remember as much of it, so I mean I consider it that at the time, but I mean I guess you weren't collecting like 4 items and then combining them.
Yeah, it's like, is it like do you split it out into inventory based adventure games versus kind of narrative dialogue driven adventure games, and how is that stuff? Yeah. Just thinking about that stuff just makes me tired.
Yeah. Maybe you're not cut out for a video game podcast. I mean, I don't want you to think about video game.
Maybe not.
I think it's the beer talking. I think you're just getting sleepy beer syndrome.
Maybe we should just talk about genres that we enjoy and not ones that cause us to collapse into bitter rage because this has to choke us.
All right. Well, let's not talk about anime video games.
No anime video games? No snake choking anime video games?
Nope.
Let's see. What else? Have you been playing anything else, or would you like to move on to the hot new news of Nintendo Switch?
Let's talk about Switch. Let's switch it up.
Switch it up.
No. Nope.
Yeah, the Nintendo Switch, huh? So, what's your relationship with Nintendo consoles at this point?
That is a good question because it will have a lot of bearing on how I feel about this.
I think talking about our relationship with Nintendo might be good before we dive into this thing, because I think we have some inherent biases.
Probably the first consoles I ever touched were like an SNES, and my first video game console that I ever owned was a Game Boy, and then an N64.
That is almost exactly the same for me.
And then traded in that N64 for a GameCube. So I mean, first 3 consoles, all Nintendo, and yet I have no love for Nintendo consoles.
And why do you feel that?
Not sorry, that's a weird way to put it. I don't have an overwhelming nostalgia for them. I appreciated my experiences on, especially, I think Game Boy Advance was probably the high point of my Nintendo love.
It's a solid console. It's a solid
GBA,
handheld.
I mean, I think SP is probably the best handheld that's ever been created.
No
But
Sega Nomad for you?
no, I did
Game
have.
Gear?
Actually, I had a Game Gear for a little
I also
while.
had a Game Gear. That
But
thing
it was like I think it was a Step Brothers who I had for a little bit, and then it had Sonic on it, and I think I played the first level, and I was like, Sonic fucking sucks, no thanks. And then never, I played the first level like over and over again, and just never got into it, and then gave it back.
To be fair, that version of Sonic is wet trash. Like, it's terrible.
Well, I think I'm just I'm not. I have no reflexes for that speed of game, and I didn't have the patience to figure it out. But
right.
Yeah. Anyway, Spinball, hell of a game. Was there a Spinball for Game Gear?
Ooh, that's a really good
that
question.
That would be a mistake if not. Ooh.
Hey, it's a long time ago now, but Spinball. Let's find out. Spinball Game Gear. Use the power of the internet. No, yeah, it is. It is available for both the Mega Drive and
cool.
the Game Gear.
That's a good. Anyway, so as much Nintendo stuff as I played as a child, and for them dominating the first years of my console experiences, I never had a reverence for Mario or Zelda, or even Metroid. I mean, I think I remember liking Metroid Prime on GameCube, but other than that, like, I just never had a reverence for the main Nintendo properties. So when it comes to modern day and new Zeldas and Marios and Star Foxes get announced, I'm just like, man, like, the best experiences I had on the 64 were GoldenEye and Cruisin' USA and Diddy Kong Racing. Like, if you're not, so my point of reference for like for these franchises that they're continuing just is, I mean, it's
right. Yeah, like, I guess I could understand. Like, for me, Star Fox 64 is like one of my favorite classic games.
Yeah. At
this point, I really liked the original Star Fox as well. I also really liked, obviously Mario Kart 64, which isn't that fantastic of a Mario Kart, but it was my first Mario Kart, or my second, really. I mean, the SNES game, but I was very young at the time. But yeah, like, a lot of my fond memories of the Super Nintendo, and less so on the 64 because there weren't many third-party games of note, but on the SNES, it was really about, like, your Final Fantasies, your Mega Man X, like, even going back to the NES, like, Mega Man 2 is such a great game. Oh, I know, hot take that no one's ever had before, but
I don't think I ever played an NES.
Yeah, wow, really? Yeah. There's and then, especially on the Super Nintendo, Mega Man Soccer, which I am contractually obligated to say is the best soccer game ever developed.
Okay.
It's super amazing, and I love it. Every day forever. Sunset Riders, that's a great game for Konami, who used to make video games.
I played an actual cabinet of that at an arcade bar.
That is amazing. You played an arcade cabinet version of Sunset Riders.
Yep.
That was probably
I think it had an actual a beer holder next to it, which is the way to play Sunset Riders.
Listen, if you're not drinking beer while you're playing Sunset Riders, you're messing up, my friend.
Agreed.
But yeah, so I have a love for what Nintendo is capable of. Super Mario World is a fantastic game. Super Mario 64.
I think I had Super Mario World for the Game Boy.
Oh,
the
yeah,
original
okay.
Game Boy. Okay, so that would probably be
wait, the original Game Boy. That would be Super Mario Land. Then.
Oh, okay. Then yes.
Different game, but still a great game. A great game.
Well, I mean, so that's my point of reference for, like, a Mario game that I owned, and I was like, no thanks.
Wow.
Like, that was my sister's. I mean, I feel like those games to me were just frustrating. Like, I as a kid, I didn't have that sense of accomplishment for finishing levels. So it was just like, what's all this impeding me from completing this?
So So is the core problem here just that you're bad at video games,
I
or?
think so. I honestly, I'm
I,
thinking about it
I
now,
understand what you're saying.
and
Like
I think like when I think of GoldenEye and Cruis'n USA and Diddy Kong Racing, I liked those games because they were multiplayer games. I liked playing those games with other people.
Right,
So
right.
when you give me this Super Mario, or Mario 64 or Super Mario Land, I'm just like, what? I'm not playing with people, so it's just me versus me and like the dexterity of my fingers, and that's not. I'm
less
not interested in
satisfying.
that.
Less
Yeah.
satisfying. Yeah. Okay. So at this point, I guess like for me, a lot of what I was hoping for with the Nintendo Switch was to see uh, one of a few things, and they all seem, especially in retrospect, they all seem like pipe dreams, right? But I really wanted Nintendo to come out with this thing at this event in January here and go, all right, we've got 10 launch games. We've got 3 entries in our most popular franchises. Like Nintendo, we know what we do best. We've got our IP, we have our 7 characters that we have or whatever, and we're gonna put a good portion of them out at launch. Here's a new 2D Metroid. Here's a Mario game. Here's Zelda Breath of the Wild at launch. They did 1.5 of those things, and they have 5 launch games on March 3rd when the system launches.
What are
They
those games? Zelda
Snipper
1-2 Switch.
Zelda 1-2 Switch, Snipper Clips, Has Been Heroes. Let me just look it up. I don't have
What is
the.
Has Been Heroes? I didn't even see that. That was probably in the treehouse.
It was on the Treehouse. I didn't actually see it at the time, but I looked back at the. So that's Frozen Byte, who made Trine,
Okay.
the Trine games, and it is a roguelike dungeon crawlery game that has kind of the plot is basically you're a bunch of has-been heroes who are escorting younger kids in the kingdom to some, like, you're basically like glorified babysitters for these kids, and like it's a run-based game, and it seems cool, and it's a $20 game for the Switch, which is cool because that's like the price that 1-2 Switch should be instead of 50. But let me look at this here. Launch lineup, Switch. But yeah, so you announce a brand new Mario game that, in my opinion, looks fantastic, unbelievable, very exciting. I mean, despite being someone who is, like as someone who doesn't have that fondness for Mario, maybe you didn't have this reaction, but I was so excited to see a new Mario in the style of Mario 64, with kind of these varied environments, these big open maps, and a very traditional third-person perspective. Like, that was very exciting for me. But then to see that it's coming out in an undefined holiday window this fall, that doesn't excite me to buy one of these consoles for $300. Basically, the people who will be buying this thing on launch day are Zelda fans.
Yeah. So I saw the trailer for that Mario game, and I was like, oh, okay. So they're playing it safe. They're going back to the well of 64 Sunshine. Okay, that's like, okay.
I mean,
fine.
that's to be fair though. The last Mario games they've made, the last 3 Mario games they've made have been away from that. So they're going back to the well, but it's because we all want them to. Because I want to see a freeform Mario game. I don't as much as Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World were these games that were like kind of an evolution of the stage-based Mario of the past. Like, I wanted to go back to an open world Mario. So as someone who's excited about that game, like, I can understand why you'd be like, oh yeah, cool. Like, it's just they're doing 64 again. But that brings me to the other hope that I had, right? If they weren't going to do what I hoped they would do with their IP, I wanted them to come out with a bunch of weird new games.
Yeah.
And what they came out with instead of weird new games was a port of Mario Kart 8, a sequel to Splatoon, which admittedly looks great, but it's just more Splatoon.
Yeah.
They have one exciting new IP, and it's basically Splatoon, but for Punch Out. They made Arms, and Arms looks awesome. But again, guess when Arms should be coming out? On March 3rd. Guess when it's coming out? Question mark. Sometime in spring 17.
And
Like,
isn't it full price too?
yeah, that's a $60 game as
Like
well.
I mean, nothing they showed me at that presentation.
I could see a world where that makes sense if they are going full Overwatch with it, and it's like each of those characters has nuance to them, and maybe I don't want to necessarily, I don't really necessarily want to shit on it too much as of yet because we haven't seen too much of that, but it doesn't necessarily seem like a $50, maybe a $40 game. You know,
Yeah,
like
it's
there
just
are
it's like
there are price points between $10 and $60, y'all.
that. That trailer was just like, I mean, what they showed of that game did not demonstrate enough content for that price point. So, and if it's that far off, why even announce the price?
I think
like just hold that back and let us think there's hope.
So the problem is, if they hadn't announced the games beyond March, then they have 8 games. So I'm looking at this infographic, and I was actually wrong. Launch day is only 5 games. And it is Zelda 1-2 Switch, Super Bomberman R, Skylanders Imaginators, which is a port of another Skylanders, and Just Dance 2017.
Oh God!
So 2 of those games, in my opinion, don't even really count, and I don't even think that's because I'm not the audience for them. I think it's because they're total underhand. That's total whatever. And then during March, so then later in March, we do get a new fast racing game, which is basically the not F-Zero, which is hilarious. Like, Nintendo, you own F-Zero. Just hire those people to make F-Zero. No, it's a game called Fast.
Oh, it's literally just called Fast.
It's literally called Fast RMX. And there's been a few of them. There were
but that's not first party, right?
No, it is
not.
But
I mean, you could farm out F-Zero. It's not like, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not doing anything with F-Zero, then just hire someone to make it.
Yeah, find a fucking retro to take your franchise and move it into the future.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, again, and we can sit here all day and complain about how Nintendo's not doing what we want them to, but I think ultimately the thing that upsets me about the Switch is that the hardware looks great.
And it seems like it's launching at the right price. The memory is a little suspect.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 32 gig internal, and then you can expand that. So I don't know that that's necessarily too much of a problem, especially since there's like 6 games for the console.
Yeah.
But again, just looking at this launch lineup for the entire year, for all year, they listed all these games that'll come out this year, and there's just nothing that I see that I go like, oh yes, that isn't like Mario. And I mean, Zelda is exciting, but I'm not a big enough Zelda fan to purchase a console for it. They're putting a port of Skyrim out this fall. Will people even remember what Skyrim is? Of course.
I mean, I think they will, but it's like, okay, how about a version of Skyrim that you can't mod? Like the reason Skyrim stuck around is because people keep updating it and putting shit in there.
Well, remind me, is the remastered version for the consoles? Do those support mods on the PS4 and Xbox?
Oh, probably not, but yeah.
So I mean, in the same way, like that whole port is just there for, again, at the risk of sounding pejorative, for casual players, for people who like.
Do we know how well that Skyrim remaster did?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know that they publicly reported anything, so I don't know that I can speak to that. But I imagine it did okay, right? I mean, people like Skyrim. It's the same reason everyone keeps going to see Underworld and Resident Evil sequels. You know, they're just there. You just like the same thing over and over again. I mean, Skyrim was a great game. It's still a great game. But how about this? How about we put out a fighting game for the Nintendo Switch? Okay. What are some good fighting games that you'd like to see on the Nintendo Switch?
Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Okay, no, we can't do that one. Try again.
How about Way of the Samurai?
Mark of the Wolves.
Oh. Samurai Showdown is what I was looking for.
Samurai Showdown. Oh no, I got a better idea. How about we put out Street Fighter 2 again?
How many?
Oh, and
how-
it's not going to come out until sometime later this year. That seems to be indicative of the entire Switch lineup, where it's just like a game you don't really need, but like here
So
it comes.
part
and
of the
not even that long.
speculation that I saw was that that the fiscal year ends in March. Would that be a reason that Nintendo would be launching this console before they have the lineup of games to back it?
I mean, certainly, and I think that there's a way to. I don't want to. I know we're being a little punchy and negative here, and like that's just because I have slowly been realizing over the last few years that Nintendo just isn't. They don't want me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
And that's fine.
Even
like whatever.
even if they have cool ideas behind their hardware, it's like.
And they do.
But,
They've got awesome stuff going on with that hardware, and I'm sure they'll make some cool ass games for it. And I'm sure some of these games that come out this year will be really fun. But I'm not the audience, and it bums me out because I love so many of I love the characters and I love the IP that they have, but they're just not making the kinds of games that I want to play. So I hope it does well. I hope the Switch can find its footing.
Yeah.
And I hope the Switch has more games. I would like to see them court indies harder.
Yes, I agree. If you make a company where you are known for even just taking your own franchises and innovating constantly, well, just make a platform where you celebrate innovation. Bring in independent developers, celebrate them as much as, we celebrate your own software.
Right. And you see some of that. You see some of that stuff coming through. There are some games on this list that are, they're indies. Rhyme, the game that's been in development for a while and rebooted once, Has Been Heroes, like I said, is Frozen Byte. Siberia 3, that's an adventure game. Yeah, Siberia 3 is on this list.
Okay.
So there is some of that, but just not enough. Like, it seems like it would be, again, I don't know too much about how negotiating with Nintendo works or how they go about acquiring content for their consoles, but it just seems strange to me that you wouldn't pad your launch day with a bunch of very easy to acquire digital games that are already going to be launching on Steam in that window. Like, get some games from independent creators, launch your eShop on the Switch with a bunch of these. Like, if the Nintendo Switch was just a game that I played Zelda, Mario, and all of my Steam games on, but I could take it with me, that might be enough for me to spend $300 on it.
Yeah.
Like, as it stands, like, until Mario comes out, I don't have a reason to buy this thing.
Do we know what their virtual console looks like? Like,
nope.
Okay. I mean, like,
there's a lot of.
Is it possible that they launch with a whole, like, their whole backlog of Nintendo titles able to play on the Switch?
That's about as possible as them launching with a new 2D Zelda, new 2D Metroid. So while it is actually technically possible, their track record does not indicate that that's something that they'd be ready to do. I hope that they come out. So here's the problem: it launches in a month and 2 weeks.
Right.
They don't have a lot of time to communicate any of this stuff to us. And I would hope that if they have something to say about Virtual Console and what'll be available at launch to buy, the two options here, the two possibilities are, like, they don't have much ready at all, and so they're not talking about it, or they have a whole crap load of games ready, and that's why they're not talking about it. I really hope it's the latter, because they need to find a way to get that value proposition going. And again, 5 games at launch, and one of them is a very experimental minigame collection, and the other one is, like, one of the other ones is Zelda, which is this, again, very popular but still a niche game. I mean, if you're a casual consumer, you're maybe not super excited about what Zelda's putting down.
Yeah.
Zelda's they're kind of pushing that game in an even more hardcore direction. So yeah, we'll see. It's an exciting platform. They've announced a lot of cool cool niche games for it.
Mhm.
It's just that they're not coming out fast enough for my liking. I don't know that there's enough of a library there to invest in that
So
system yet.
one of the points that's been brought up about the console is that, hey, we've had years and years to figure out that what we want for mobile gaming isn't to bring Skyrim in our pocket. Like, nobody wants. I mean, unless you're taking a 2-hour commute to work, like
Right.
this idea that you're going to play this giant multi-hour epic on your mobile device, we've figured out that that doesn't necessarily work. So, does some of this, be able to take your console with you on the go, does some of that just feel misguided to you?
I think there's well, no one's made this kind of device before. I think it's important, or I'm sorry,
I mean,
technically people have made this kind of device before, but no one who is a first-party publisher has created this kind of device before. And
I mean, I compare it to the Vita, and like the experience.
That's fair, but I think look at what the Vita became in its later life, and it became a system for those indie titles.
Yeah.
And I think that it found a comfortable niche there. They perhaps missed their opportunity to make the Vita especially successful, but I think the people who have Vitas, overall, they enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you're thinking about what the Switch could be, I don't know that it's entirely fair to say that no one wants what it is, because we don't know what a small device that can produce local multiplayer Mario Kart within like 15 seconds is. Like I personally think that there's a lot of opportunity for those local multiplayer games for stuff like 1-2 Switch. I think it was a mistake to not make it a pack-in. I don't think that's...
Jesus. Is there a pack-in?
There is no pack-in. So you're buying a $60 game on top of your $300 console, which is okay. Yeah. Like it's there again, there are issues, but I admit that a lot of those issues are from my personal perspective in terms of like what I see as a value proposition in a console. And I think that there's an opportunity for the Nintendo Switch to take advantage of the local multiplayer boom.
I agree. I think that is the market that I want to see them hit. And I think I wish there was like a Jackbox party pack on this thing, but
100%.
The part of the thing that makes me wonder if that's even what they're going for is the pricing of extra controllers. Because like, okay, so you can do 2 people, or you can pay what, like $80 to get 2 other Joy-Cons so you can do 4-player?
Yeah, I mean, but then again, the people you're trying to deploy multiplayer Nintendo Switch gaming on, they're going to either own a Switch or not be interested.
I mean,
it's harsh, but like I think, yeah, I mean, the pricing of the accessories is a stumbling block. But again, like I think we need to take a step back and wait and see on this stuff. And the people that I've talked to about the console have almost universally said that they're not in on launch day. They're not ready. Like even the people that are diehard Nintendo fans that I know, they pre-ordered one, but then were immediately like, well, I'll think about it now. Now that I have my pre-order in and I still have time to cancel, like I wanted to get in line just in case, and now I'll think about whether or not I want to go through with it.
Here's a question I have, which is, do you think Nintendo's hardware strategy has any... Do you think there's at all an element of rarity? Like with the 3DS, with the Pokemon Go Plus, with the NES Classic, do you think there's any artificial scarcity stuff going on with them to make people talk about it?
This is that's a complicated question, and I'm not sure I want to necessarily make a strong statement either way, because it's hard for me to understand how the supply chaining works. I think by a lot of indications, Nintendo is a very conservative company, and they are trying to cover their ass as much as possible. You know, they're coming off of a home console that underperformed, I think, by any stretch of the imagination. Like everyone everyone at this point is on the same page regarding the success or failure of the Wii U. It wasn't a failure.
Yeah.
It has an install base, but it was definitely an underperforming console for them. So I think they're in an especially conservative space now. Do I think that they artificially constrained the supply chain of the NES Classic? I don't. I think Nintendo legitimately underestimated how many people would be interested in the NES Classic. You might be saying to yourself, how is that possible, Jeff? But then look at how when they announced their online service for the Switch, they offer you one Super Nintendo game with online functionality per month. And after that month, they take it away and make you pay for it. Compare that to the Xbox Live, where you're getting 3 games per month for free for your subscription, and PlayStation Plus, where you're getting a similar thing. And then you get to keep those libraries the entire time you're paying them. Nintendo is notoriously bad at being observant of larger gaming trends. They're so interested in being a differentiated, separate pillar of gaming. They're so interested in not competing with Nintendo and Sony, or sorry, with Microsoft and Sony, that they're not able to, or not willing to, take any learnings from what they've done in terms of value propositions to customers and services and games as a service. Like, they're just now starting to see that they can charge for online, and they're screwing that up too. So I don't know. It seems like Nintendo genuinely isn't aware of what people outside of its core fan base want.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have you know that I waited 3-4 months for a Pokemon Go Plus watch. Yeah. I know that's not directly them, but they have something to do with it. But It's fine. I got it. I just wanted to say that people are having a hard time finding 3DSs. People are having a hard time finding NES Classics.
I will say that the 3DS may be a part of them sunsetting that system quietly.
Yeah, I can see that.
The Pokemon Go Plus, I'm going to go on the record and say I think you're a crazy person. I think that
the enemy.
I think that purchasing a physical peripheral for a free-to-play game that is already gouging you.
Let me. Okay, hold on. No, first of all, I don't spend.
I'm not trying to shit on Pokemon Go. It's a what Niantic did with Pokemon Go was a really amazing and brilliant marriage of mechanics and brand. It was extremely successful for them. Much respect.
Did you read my Game of the Year list?
I sure did.
Because that game helped my marriage, Jeff.
Listen, that I'm not going to comment on why your marriage needed help. But
I'm just saying it helped me spend time with loved ones. It encouraged me to exercise. Like, how much goodwill can a game generate?
Listen, I think Pokemon Go did some really amazing stuff for us for a period of time.
That period is now.
But no, I think a lot of us have moved on, and I think that
I think a lot of you have too, and that's why I'm in your gyms, fucking stealing your Pokemon coins. Okay.
Gyms. I'm putting my Vaporeon up in your shit. I got this Magikarp. I'm trolling your shit.
Bro, I'm rolling deep in Snorlaxes.
I'm glad you're having fun.
Speaking of sunsetting the 3DS
sunsetting,
Pokemon.
Yeah, let's
Pokemon, what's the last one? Sun and Moon. Haven't played it.
Yeah, me either. I was excited for the idea of that game being ported to the Switch. It seems
was that an idea?
It was an idea, and it was rumored, and it still may be coming, but they haven't said anything about it. So I imagine that's either something they're saving to announce at E3, or it's not coming until... I can't imagine a world where it doesn't come out this year.
That was something that... I can't remember who brought it up, but if the Switch is truly... the home console and portable, and they were gonna sunset the 3DS, and this was gonna serve both purposes, then maybe we do live in a future where there will be a full Pokemon game on a home console.
And that's an exciting time, but then recently Nintendo did come out and said that there is a plan for a successor to the 3DS.
Oh,
so yeah, no, that's that reaction, right there with you, because we all kind of thought that this would be them bringing everything back
like,
together.
how do you move into mobile and into a split home also carry around with you console and then have a third thing? What a weird.
And again, like I respect Nintendo because they make a lot of cool decisions. But lately, a lot of their decisions just, again, they're not for me. They're not for, and increasingly, not to be too egocentric about it, but I think I represent a pretty large majority of the way people play games. I mean, the average gamer is over 30.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just make these things that are squarely targeting kids, which, again, Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey look like games that are appealing to everyone in a way that maybe they've been acting like all their games are appealing to everyone, but this really does. Like, when I looked at Mario Odyssey, I was like, wow, I'm getting excited like I'm 10 again. Like, this is awesome. This is amazing. Look at this Bowser. He's in a white suit.
I did like Bowser. I'll say I like Bowser, and I like the idea of taking off your hat and then jumping on it. I think that was a cool idea.
Yeah, that throwing the hat and using it as a platform.
Yeah.
Also, the vaguely Biff Tannen alternate timeline shit going on, where it's like Mario's in this world where Bowser and Peach are gonna get married. Like, that is amazing. Like, give me that shit.
I picked up on that, but yeah.
Like, there's that one shot of him. He's in the rain in New Donk City. He's looking at that billboard. And that billboard's got the sign for their marriage. He's looking all sad. It's like Blade Runner and shit. It's amazing.
All right, I'll go watch the trailer again.
I'm stoked as hell about that. But whatever. The point is, Nintendo has been making decisions that are counter to what I think they should be doing, and maybe they know better, but I'm not willing to give them the benefit of the doubt after what happened with the Wii U.
Yeah. Agreed.
So.
Well, let's, unless you have anything else to say about Nintendo, let's move on to what do we want to do with this website this year?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's wrap it up with a kind of look forward at 2017.
So before we look forward, I'll say what's new now. So what's new now is we have a new logo. We've retreated it. One, to give us a monochrome logo so that we can easily make stickers and shirts and stuff. And two, just so that it looks cool for the new year.
It does look cool.
We've at least in this setup, now we have a way to record our video game sessions separately from our live stream, which means we can be more inventive with our live stream stuff. We can put headers and overlays and all that sort of fun stuff. We can play with green screens. So streams should be a lot more fun than they were previously. The other thing I want to do relatively soon, in the genesis of the Heatseeker, it was originally when I was in school.
Got it.
It was originally essentially an RSS feeder. It was a reader. It was a way to take your favorite blogs and stuff and throw them all into one web page, sort of a front page where you could read all the things that you wanted. We've since moved on from that and said let's have original material, but I think there's still a need to have a way to filter some of the chaff of YouTube, of user-generated game media content. And so one of the things that I've wanted to do, and I've talked to you about it, is spotlight sort of similar channels from us, or people who are doing similar things from us, who have a, they want to write their reviews, they want to examine them more thoroughly than just, somebody sitting in front of gameplay and just talking off the cuff. I want to be able to spotlight.
Find content that is aligned with what we want to do, and present it to the audience, and make the Heatseeker a place for almost a collective of people who are creating the same sort of content.
Yes.
I'm
because I've been talking to at least one or two people who are talking about, like, it's easy to find video game content on YouTube. It's hard to find, like, the quality stuff, the people who are editing, the people who are writing, who really care and have, who pay attention to context and history and all that stuff. So let's find those people, let's celebrate them, and let's present them alongside of us and our own content, so that there's, like, a place on the internet to go to find all of that in one place.
Right. Yeah. And I personally would like to. I'd like to be putting more written content on the site
Yes.
in parallel. I think having us writing stuff more often on the website, in addition to curating these other content channels, will create a feed that's kind of satisfying. We're not going to blow people's feet up with like tons of content from us necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're out there, you're putting in work, you're doing your reviews. I'd like to maybe get into video as well, but I'm fairly busy. But yeah, like I think that ultimately what we need to do is create a platform that has original content on it, but also is serving up that good stuff. Finding a way to manually curate that stuff. We don't want to be a site that is reporting on every little thing.
Yeah.
We want to be a site that hey, here's a long form piece about a game we like. Here is a well made video review for a niche title. You did Battlefleet Gothic. Like, listen, the people writing about Battlefleet Gothic are like, that's like Rock Paper Shotgun and other European websites.
Oh, I almost played it today.
So yeah, like we continuing to cover the niche, but also surfacing other people's stuff that is doing the same.
And I think bringing people on, whether it's into the Heatseeker or on our featured channels, it'll also alleviate some of the stress on us and some of the burden of us to spend more time doing things, because we don't have to say, oh my God, we've got to generate, like, we haven't put out a video or an article in this long, we got to get there, people are going to think we're gone. Whereas if we feature other people and invite other people into the fold, then we can generate more and not have to worry about that sort of stuff and take our time.
And I do think that I'd like to be doing this more often. I think we should be.
I think this should be a weekly thing. I think this should be a weekly
we can
podcast.
try to. We will do that.
We will.
We just have to find a time that works.
And I want to format this. On the stream, I want to have a presentation for it, and I want to be able to record it and audio-wise put it up. So
I mean, this is a test run. We're just here having a good time, talking about the future, talking about just shitting on Nintendo.
Come on.
I mean, listen, I love Nintendo still. I don't know why, but I do.
I have a box of.
They killed
NES
my
and SNES
Foxy
games
boy.
behind me.
They killed my Foxy baby boy.
Who the fuck?
This last year, they
Star
killed
Fox?
that Star Fox. I love him so much, and they just.
He died?
They really dropped the ball.
I thought he literally died in the narrative of a Star Fox game.
If they made a Star Fox game where they fucking murdered Star Fox, that's 100% my shit. I would be into that. I want to see a sad cutscene where like Peppy is like cradling a dead Star Fox. That's amazing.
What if they murder Star Fox and then bring his son back, and you play his son avenging his father's death?
Yeah, listen, that would be satisfying parallelism to me. You're not gonna pitch a hardcore Star Fox.
I'm going to go play Red Dead Redemption right now.
Give me that Star Fox.
When does Red Dead Redemption 2 come out?
Sometime this year. Maybe.
Really, this year?
Yeah, listen, Scott. Come on.
It's not this year.
We've been around. Yeah, we've been around the track a few times. We know
especially with Rockstar. That game's not
games,
coming out this
year. They're gonna delay that shit to March, and we'll all deal with it.
I forgot. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think that's a solid plan.
All right. Well, we're gonna get to work on that.
Kill it.
I think this is good, Jeff. I'm at 4 hours of streaming, so I think we're at a good celebration of the Heatseeker.
That was a celebration. Let's take a break. Hey, why don't you just take a second and run down all of the places on the internet that people can find you?
Oh God. Okay, so Twitter is at the Tweetseeker. No, it's just Tweetseeker. There's no the.
Delightful.
Because for the website, it's theheatseeker.com. We're on Tumblr. We're on Facebook. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for the Heatseeker.
I mirror the stuff that I write and the content I make at simprotag.com. That's SYMPROTAG.com. That's just a mirror of my Tumblr. You can find me on Twitter at Jeff_Soulier and on Twitch at twitch.tv/rpjeff and on here at theheatseeker.com's Twitter or Twitch rather, whenever you guys decide to host me.
Cool. Awesome. You're auto host, so you don't even have to worry about that. All right, Jeff. Well, thanks for joining me. Hopefully this will be a regular thing. In the
it will be.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, until
See
next
you guys
time.
later.
Later. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for this edition actually, this is the only edition of the 2016 celebration, 2017 3-year anniversary. Hopefully, you're excited because we've got a lot of things coming up this year. I forgot to mention to Jeff that one of the things I want to do more of is actual tabletop board game coverage. I've been playing a lot of X-Wing, so hopefully that will be in the near future. But a lot of exciting things to come up this year. So thanks for all of your support this year, or last year and the years before that. Hopefully you'll stick around this year. I'm going to go drink some more alcohol and celebrate some more, but thanks for watching. Till next time.